2010 IZOD IndyCar season has come full circle with a return to oval racing, starting here with Chicagoland Speedway. Points leader Will Power has never won on an oval, but a first win here would strengthen his championship hopes. His other mission, keep two men behind him, Ganassi teammates Dario Franchitti and Scott Dixon, drivers who just happen to have won the last 3 season championships. Town known for the Bulls and the Bears, not to mention the latest Stanley Cup champion, Chicago has an insatiable appetite for sports. But on this Saturday night, the cars are the stars as IndyCar races 200 high-speed laps at Chicagoland. Welcome to Versus IndyCar Central, presented by Firestone. I'm Lindy Thaxton out on the midway at Chicagoland. We're so glad you could join us for this night race. It is stop 14 of 17 on the road to the championship. We got a great crowd out here with us. We are on the path to 4 straight ovals. We crowned our road and street course champion last week at Sonoma, Will Power. He has a pretty strong lead in the overall point standings as well. He's really known, though, as a road course specialist. He won 5 of the 9. He's never won on an oval. But at our last oval race at Iowa, he equaled his best ever finish, and that was 5th. So now we get to watch him race with the drivers who have better oval histories than he does. It's been 2 months since we've been on an oval. We had 4 winners in those 4 oval races.
Scott Dixon will dominate again this afternoon in Kansas.
Last 168 laps belong to that number 9 machine.
The twin checkers are out, and Scott Dixon has won for the 2nd straight year at Kansas Speedway. The 94th running of the greatest spectacle in racing.
Dario Franchitti has been the man almost since the drop of the green flag.
Can he make it 2.5 more miles? And Weldon, can he close?
Yellow, 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 back it down. Dario Franchitti is a 2-time winner of the Indianapolis 500-mile race.
Hey, baby, check a flag.
Here's the battle. Danica Patrick on the low side. Ryan Briscoe on the high side. They almost touch. Briscoe will nose in front.
Just 21 laps to go. Danica Patrick is pedaling as hard as she can, but it's not going to be to much avail. Briscoe started from pole and wasn't denied. Ryan Briscoe wins for the first time this year.
Tony Kanaan, we're from 15th place up to 7th. Now he's in 3rd.
10 laps to go, and Tony Kanaan has taken the lead. The 3 races that he has been here, he crashed out, but not today. Tony Kanaan wins the Iowa Corn Indy 250.
Scott Dixon has a small lead over teammate Dario Franchitti in the A.J. Foyt Trophy standings, given to the top oval racer of the season. Ryan Briscoe and Tony Kanaan are also in reach of that title. And as you can see, Will Power is in 8th place, 49 oval points behind Dixon. Jack Root is standing by with Scott.
Yeah, and before we talk about that slim lead in the A.J. Foyt Trophy and the chase for the championship, you didn't qualify the way we all expected and the way you expected yesterday. What happened?
It was definitely a shock for Team Targa. You know, the number 9 car had been extremely fast in all the sessions, I think, in the top 5 at least. So, yeah, we rolled out and just didn't really find the speed. You know, we geared long because we thought it would speed up, and obviously we just couldn't pull that gear and ended up 15th. So we got a little bit of work, but we changed everything on the car, engine, gearbox, suspension, everything. So I got to put out a big thank you to the team for working so hard and getting that happen.
All right, let's talk about that mid-pack start. What are you going to have to do to get to the lead pack, or is it going to be a lead pack that includes you at the drop of the green?
I don't know. You know, it's going to be it's one of those things. It's a moving target. You know, there's going to be a lot of cars doing strange things and a lot of new people out there too. So you know, for me, it's just to try and keep it clean. Obviously, you need to be in the lead at the end of the race, not in the first 5 laps. So we'll try and move forward as quick as possible, but we're looking for a good result here.
Will you be able to maybe team up with a non-teammate like Tony Kanaan and be able to work your way to the front?
Tony and I have spoke already about how we can get there. He's starting 13th right in front of me, so I was like, open the doors for
Do you
him, man.
trust him?
I don't know, actually. I don't know, but I'll trust him probably for the first few laps and see what happens. But, TK is definitely good on these starts and starting the mid-pack and getting to the front, so I'll be looking out for that.
Dixie, let's talk a little bit about your record here, because it is incredible, and I know the old cliche, always a bride, never a bridesmaid. You have been a runner-up not once, not twice, 3, 4, 5 times you've been runner-up. What is it going to take for you to finally be the bride?
Well, I did win here, I think. Was it last year or the year before? 2008, I think, but then they took it away from me in Winners Circle, which I thought was pretty bad, and that was Alio that beat me there. So, I've been in Winners Circle, but it was only for about 4 minutes, and then they took the trophy back off me, but hopefully we can do it for real tonight, and I think the team behind us tonight is going to definitely have the job to do it.
Hey, Lindy, in this chase for the championship, this guy could be the spoiler.
Yeah, good stuff there, Jack. Thank you. And tonight's race features 29 cars, the second most in IndyCar history, after 31 cars started Las Vegas back in 1997. And in the field are a record 5 women. Simona Di Silvestro starts 27th, Milka Duno 26th, Sarah Fisher 25th, Anna Beatrice 22nd, and Danica Patrick starting highest in 12th position, and she's standing by with Robbie.
And always the most crowded area in the pits, Danica Patrick's the number 7, starting in 12th today. Our former pole winner here, but that didn't happen yesterday. But it's a totally different car setup for today.
Yeah, well, we were a little loose in qualifying, so unfortunately didn't put the GoDaddy car in the right position for the race to start. But, the final practice last night was pretty crazy, and it's going to be, I think, a really tough race. There's going to be a lot of side-by-side stuff going on, and I felt good in that situation. So, I'm sure I was behind more than 11 cars at some point last night, so I feel like we can come back through.
How good does it feel to be away from the road and street courses? You talked about it when they announced the schedule last year. You like the routes of this series, the ovals.
Yeah, well, I'm better. I seem to be better on them than on the road courses, and I understand that. There's nothing better than performing on a road course, and I've done it before. It just seems like it's not there, and we're struggling a little bit, and so on and so forth. So, I do enjoy the road courses, but I think that the ovals just put on a great show. It's just a lot of action, a lot of passing, and that's what the fans want to see, I think.
A lot of hard work starting to pay off for Andretti Autosports. You tested, or you physically didn't, but Ryan Hunter-Ray and Marco tested at Kentucky instead of testing at Sonoma. Can you see it paying off really big here this weekend?
Maybe, and hopefully even more at Kentucky. Every track's unique in and of themselves, but I think my engineer Eddie and I have worked together really well over the season, and I think we've got some good things going on for the 1.5 miles, which is all we have left, isn't it?
The last 1.5 miles was Texas. She finished second there. Do you think Danica Patrick can win here tonight? Do you think so? We'll find out soon, Lindy.
They better say yes, standing right in front of her like that, Robbie. Thank you. Well, Sarah Fisher returns to the field tonight. She's starting 25th, as we mentioned. And Anna Beatrice is making her first start for Dreyer and Reinbold since the Indy 500. She's starting 22nd. This is IndyCar Central on Versus, presented by Firestone.
The IndyCar Central pre-race is presented by Firestone, the first name in Indy racing.
Hey, welcome to my place in Chicago. I'm Hideki Muto, driver for Newman House Racing, car number 06. I love Chicago because I grew up middle of Tokyo, and this is right in downtown, so I'm very comfortable living downtown Chicago. This is a race helmet. This is actually my favorite book about Nigel Mansell. These are all Japanese cartoon. This is actually my car. Now I'm going to work out. I usually go up north and just run by the lake. That's my workout.
Things worked out well for Hideki in qualifying. He's starting 8th. He made his first IndyCar Series start here at Chicagoland back in 2007, finishing 8th for Panther Racing. Tonight, he looks to add another good finish for the hometown team of Newman Haas, who's based out of Chicago. Teammate Graham Rahal starts in 6th. And this is a town known for sports tradition, and Chicagoland is no different. It is known for close finishes. There have been 10 races here. 7 of them have been decided by less than 0.2 of a second. In fact, 5 of those rank in the top ever closest finishes in IndyCar here in IndyCar history. So take a look at this and listen to me. Try not to blink when you watch this. We're going to start out in 2005. Dan Weldon over Elio Castroneves. 2003, Sam Hornish Jr. over Scott Dixon and Brian Herta. Last year, Ryan Briscoe's finish over Scott Dixon. The year before that, Elio catching Dixon at the line when Scott came away with the championship. And then the closest race in IndyCar history, Hornish over Al Jr. and Bunny Lazier. And Robbie Floyd is with one of those winners. Robbie?
I am with Dan the Man Weldon, ready to get things going here. A 2-time winner. That has to sound good.
It does, but 3 would sound much better. And, you know, certainly the National Guard Panther Racing team have done an extremely good job all weekend. You know, the Fuzzy Vodka car is good, too, with Ed Carpenter driving it. So we're excited. I think this is going to be a great spectacle for the fans. But I'd like to make it relatively boring, being out front. But I think it's going to be a challenging race where there's a lot of very, very close racing at high speed.
It's funny you say spectacle. If you look back at last week, you were quite the spectacle on the first lap. Had no idea where that was coming from.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, and you know, a lot of people sent some very nice well wishes and stuff like that. But when you're part of the National Guard, I think you look at it very different to others. I mean, what they do, you know, overseas, fighting to keep us to allow us to roam this country freely is, you know, it pales in comparison. I mean, that was just a small hit. But like I say, the team have done a tremendous job. We're really proud of everybody in the National Guard Panther Racing team, and you know, hoping to get into victory lane tonight.
One thing to look for here, being a 2-time winner, what is the one thing really to look for? Is it the hard push of the end or jockeying to get in that position?
You know, I think with this, the way the races have gone this year, you got to stay out front as much as you can. There's been a trend where it's been green for much longer periods of time than we've had when you look at you know, recent history or past history, I should say. So we need to stay close to the front and then put ourselves in a position after that last stop to make a run for the win.
Dan Weldon, 2-time winner, and as he said, Lindy, it sure sounds better when you say 3.
Thank you, Robbie. And of course, each week Dan spends time with the National Guard hometown hero. This week, we honor Staff Sergeant Kayla Ann Kim Whittekamp. Kayla Ann was deployed in Afghanistan in 08 and 09. She was partially responsible for the Wounded Warrior program and provided logistical support to distinguished visitors. She's currently majoring in psychology at the University of Illinois at Springfield. And we welcome back Ed Carpenter tonight, making his first start since the Indy 500 for Vision Panther Racing. Carpenter in the number 20 car will start 11th tonight. You're watching IndyCar Central on Versus, presented by Firestone. Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway, where in just a little while, Patricia Cox will join Mario Andretti for a special 2-seater ride right before the green flag drops on tonight's race. For your chance to ride along with Mario in Homestead, check out shophonda.com. Sonoma is the latest chapter in the incredible story of Will Power. You'll remember a year ago he had the terrible crash there during practice, nearly ended his career. A year later, he not only goes back and wins, he also wins the Mario Andretti Trophy for the most road and street points in 2010.
Will Power will look to the inside of Hunter Ray and try to get the lead, and he will.
The Aussie is going to win the 2010 IZOD IndyCar Series season opener. He will open the 2010 season with back-to-back victories. The Aussie Will Power. Team Penske desperately wanted a win at the Glen. It looks like it will be Will Power delivering this afternoon. Will Power, how good has this guy been this year? The Twin Checkers will wave. Will Power is the winner on the streets of Toronto. The win goes to Will Power as he's back in victory lane. What a way to cap off the road courses for Will Power.
With the win in Sonoma, Power increased his overall points lead over Dario Franchitti to 59 points. Only one other driver is within 100 points of Will, and that's Dario's Ganassi teammate Scott Dixon, who is 95 behind Power. Now, a 59-point lead with 4 races to go is a sizable one, but taking into account how IndyCar set up the 2010 schedule, it could lead to a pretty intriguing finish. We started with 4 road and street courses. Will won 2 of those, and then we switched to 4 ovals, where his top finish was 5. We just finished 5 more road and street courses, where Power won 3 of those. So now let's take a look at how points are awarded at an IndyCar race. 50 points are given to the winner, and then there's a big 10-point difference between first and second, and a 20-point difference between first and fifth. Also, a bonus point is awarded for winning the pole, and 2 bonus points for leading the most laps. With that in mind, take a look at the career best finishes for Power, Franchitti, and Dixon on the 4 remaining ovals. Will's career best oval finish is 5th at both Chicagoland and Iowa, and he has yet to race at Motegi. So in theory, if Dario wins or finishes second in the next couple of races and Will only matches his career best of 5th, the title race could really tighten up. And now here's Jack with the points leader.
And think about this, Lindy. I've never seen that T-shirt before. Got Will Power? Well, guess what? I do. What do you think, Will, about fans that are now supporting you that way?
Yeah, that's cool. I love it, man. Yeah, make sure I win tonight then.
You know, in Victory Lane, it was fairly obvious that a giant gorilla had been lifted off of your back by winning at Sonoma, coming back from a stretcher 1 year ago. The rap always has been, well, wait till we get to the ovals, wait till we get to the ovals. Do you think about that at all? You seem to intimate that, yeah, you still do when you were in Victory Lane at Sonoma.
No, you know, good thing is we've got good cars. Man, I've been having fun in practice and we've been quick, so I think that I've got enough experience now to run at the front. We've had some bad runs on ovals in the previous 3, but, you know, we've been in a position to have a podium or even win, so, you know, I'm not worried. I'm just going to do what I've been doing all year, no mistakes.
You know, there's a lot of people wonder, does Will Power and Dario Franchitti go points chasing now, or do you still go for a win? Do you go like in football teams? You know, the NFL is, the New Orleans Saints used to say when they were marching, we're 1-0 every week. What's your take on that?
I think that, you know, you've always got to have in mind where Dario is. There's no use taking a risk if he's, you know, if he ends up back in the pack, and man, I just got to hang out and get points, you know. But if he's up there, I got to go for it. You know, I got to keep him in check all the time.
Hey, let's get the other side of this championship coin. Let's flip it over to Robbie Floyd.
Well, Dario, Will just said you always have to keep in mind where Dario is. Do you want to be in front of him the whole time, making him worry about that, or do you want to be in his mirrors making him worry?
I'd like to be leading the race the whole way tonight. How realistic that is, I don't know. I mean, the Penske cars look very quick. Obviously starting with the Breathe Right car, P2. We'll see what happens, but at this point, I don't have to really worry about him. I just got to go out and try and win races.
Mentality for you, though. I mean, one mechanical is what kept you from being within maybe single digits of Will this year.
Yeah, but those things happen. It's about the whole season, man. As they say, it's an overused expression. It is what it is. We are in the position with 59 points back. All we can do is try and make it up now, not worry about what's happened before.
How good is the car right now when you go out there? That last practice session yesterday?
That practice session was mayhem. It was absolute mayhem. But again, the car feels not too bad. The Target boys have been good in the pits, so we do a good team job tonight. We'll see what happens.
Do you push it as hard as maybe you normally would, even during those practice sessions, or even during the race here? You have to push it during the race, don't you?
But during the race and during practice, two totally different things. You know, during practice last night, I just got out of some crazy situations. People 3 wide and wheel banging. There's no points for practice and no prize money. So in the race tonight, though, we'll be mixing up.
I talked to somebody earlier, and they said they got pushed to the high side of place. Didn't normally want to be. It's a little uncomfortable. Did you get up high and see what it was like?
Oh, there's high and there's high. 2 highs, okay. 3 high, a little uncomfortable. 4 high, you're starting to worry about things.
All right, he's the winner here in 2007, hoping for a repeat, and he's in the Breathe Right car. And you say he's always wearing those Breathe Rights.
Yes, he is. Thank you, Robbie. Earlier today, the Firestone Indy Lights returned to oval racing as well. It's the start of 3 consecutives for them. Martin Plowman was on pole position. Watch this, though, on lap 6. Charlie Kimball flips off of Gustavo Yakiman's car. Scary moment for sure. Fortunately, both drivers are okay. Martin Plowman leads. You see Pippa Mann right behind him. Her front wing cuts his tire. She then takes the lead for quite some time. In the end, though, James Hinchcliffe wins by .0159 seconds. Pippa a Man comes in second, and that is her best career finish so far. Philip Major rounds out the top 3. Now take a look at our Mazda Road to Indy update. And Firestone Indy Lights, J.K. Bernay still leads the point standings there. James Hinchcliffe 53 points behind. In Star Mazda, Connor Daly got his 7th win today. He now clinches the championship. And in USF 2000, Sage Karam 285 points in first place. Patrick McKenna down 55. Ryan Briscoe has 3 wins on mile-and-a-half ovals, including his win at Chicagoland last year. You'll meet the man from down under next when IndyCar Central, presented by Firestone, returns on Versus. Welcome back to IndyCar Central, presented by Firestone. We're about 25 minutes from the start of tonight's race. Like Indianapolis, Charlotte, North Carolina is a racing town. It's home to most NASCAR teams, including Team Penske. Its NASCAR and IndyCar teams share a shop there. Ryan Briscoe is one of 3 IndyCar drivers for Team Penske. He lives in Charlotte with his wife, Nicole. She's a host of a NASCAR TV series. They married last December, and they are pretty busy, but they found some time for us to visit.
Morning. Heading into Penske. Let's take a look. This is the IndyCar section where all my guys do all the work between races and everything. This is where it happens. Let's say hi to my boys. This is where my cars get worked on. Jamie, what's up? Fellow Aussie from Tasmania. We ready to go this weekend? Yep. Looks like it's all cleaned up. Gary's also known as Meat. You can tell by his size. But he used to do a right rear change on my car last year. Ready to go racing this weekend? Yep. Good. You? Good, man. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm always ready. All right, looks like the car's ready to go racing with, so I'm going to go do a little bit of fitness, make sure I'm ready and strong for this weekend's race. So let's head to the Penske Jam. All right, that was a good little workout, good fast circuit training today at the gym. We're going to head home. Found Nicole. Hi. She just flew in this morning, actually, from Connecticut, so good to see you. Hi. Pretty lucky to live on the water, and it's a great place to enjoy. This is Sam. Sam, our little cocker, he's 3.5 years old. He's our baby. He's a bit tired right now, aren't you? Thanks. We've also got little Miss Kitty, or PK, Psycho Kitty. She adopted us shortly after we moved into this house. And,
she thinks she's a dog as well.
They're our children. There are some challenges being married to Nicole. She's very critical of my interviews at times.
Have you noticed how squirmy he is during interviews?
Come on, see, this is what I'm talking about here.
He's twitchy.
I'm in the groove, man.
Okay. All right, continue on.
She travels a lot, you know, obviously for work, and a lot more than I do. So, you know, we don't see each other all the time, but, you know, Nicole puts in a lot of effort, comes to a lot of my races when she gets the weekend off. I think it's healthy, though, you know. Makes you cherish the time together a little bit more, right?
Aw, Schmooky.
Being from Australia, that's always going to be home, and there are times where I miss it, but I really feel at home here.
I really do suggest that everyone should marry an Australian, because, I mean, you get to go there for a vacation and visit family, because it's obligatory.
So you're using me?
Kind of. No. Family's there, so we have to go. It's not the worst place to have to go.
Well, since we've been teasing you here, looking at the water down here, and it's turning into such a beautiful day, let's head down there, and we'll head out on the boat and have a bit of fun. What happens at the Briscoes away from the track, but I'm looking forward to seeing you there.
Man, I want a house like Ryan Briscoe. That's a nice pad you got there, but let's talk about racing. Back-to-back wins, a possibility. Definitely those 3 poles, amazing.
Yeah, you know, this place has been really good to me in the last few years, and it's great. I mean, my car was so fast in qualifying yesterday, and I just hope we can keep that kind of performance in the race today.
Qualifying's one thing, race is a different story. Do you change the setup that much? Do you want to be able to have the handling, or do you want to make the car as fast as possible?
Well, it's you don't want to get too greedy, but we were always a little bit greedy, and we have changed the setup a little bit, and we felt like our fronts were going away in final practice last night a bit too much, so we need to look after that a bit. But so far it's been really solid, and we're only making small changes.
You've had some hard times at this track. I mean, you look back on those past years, some really, really hard times. Isn't it amazing how you've turned full circle, much like your teammate Will Power?
Oh, absolutely. It was just it was only one lap that treated me badly around this place, and it was pretty severe. But I think this place maybe knows it owes me, and it's been really good to me, the last 2 years, and I've had the poles and raced at the front, and we got the win last year, and it was definitely a special win. But I'd really love to get 2 in a row. That'd be great.
The dominance this year at Texas. Danica Patrick had a fast race car, and she said she had nothing for you.
She was fast on old tires. She was running more downforce, and that's where she got to the front because everyone had started dropping off. But when it came down to the end there, when we made that final pit stop and it was a drag race, we definitely had the speed, and luckily we were just close enough where I could get around her.
I thought you were doing awesome. I didn't see much fidgeting at all, like Nicole was talking about. But I gotta ask, Schmoopy? What?
I don't know what you're talking about. That's kind of embarrassing, but
you saw it. We've got the evidence.
I think it comes from Seinfeld or something, but if I say something sweet, she'll be like, oh, schmoofy. So how did that get on the piece? That's not fair.
I have no idea who put that piece together, but good luck out there. Let's hope for back-to-back wins for Brian Visco. Lindy?
Thank you, Robbie. With 29 cars starting tonight, pit road will be extremely busy again. Let's head down to our IZOD Performance Pit Center to learn about the importance of fuelers, and one in particular.
And Lindy, that role starts with a very important role played by one man on every pit crew, all 29 of them. It's the fueler. Now, when you're trying to find a 1/10 of a second out on the racetrack, when you make a pit stop, a 1/10 of a second can be gained or lost by what the fueler does. What we've got here is the unit that the fueler uses to insert into what they call the fuel buckeye on the 22-gallon fuel cells to put 22 gallons of ethanol in. It's called a red head. When it makes the right seat, the red head opens downward and the fuel flows in at about 3 gallons a second. But if you notice, it's a mechanical device. Part of the problem is if you don't hit it just right, it's going to take you a couple of tenths to get it seated properly before you get the fuel flow. Now, what about the man that has a special mission tonight? 40-year-old Kerry Hall will be fueling for the final time in his career for Sarah Fisher. You see, Kerry is suffering from ALS, better known as Lou Gehrig's disease. It is beginning to take its toll, and Kerry has told Sarah Fisher Racing this will be his last night. In tribute to Kerry, Sarah will be carrying on the rear wing Kerry's hope to say thank you to someone that's been so critical to her success in the IZOD IndyCar Series.
Thank you so much, Jack. And the IndyCar community sure does look after each other in a variety of ways. One of those ways is the Indy Family Foundation, and their mission is to help people in the motorsports family who are in some type of financial need. And one of their main fundraising events is a golf outing at the Brickyard Crossing, sponsored by IZOD.
We're here at the Brickyard Crossing. NFL legends along with IndyCar legends. We've got some actors. It's all for the Indy Family Foundation.
It couldn't be any better than this. I mean, you're with great people. It's the Indy 500. The sun's shining.
You get out there and we had a great group of guys for a great cause. We're so blessed and so fortunate. You got to give back.
And moments ago, Mike Kelly, Executive Vice President of Marketing for Philip Van Heusen, presented a check for $150,000 on behalf of IZOD to the Indy Family Foundation. The donation is from proceeds of the IZOD IndyCar Series Celebrity Golf Tournament and was accepted on behalf of the Indy Family Foundation by Heather Carpenter, Ed's wife. IndyCar Central on Versus, presented by Firestone, continues after this.
200 laps of Kentucky Speedway.
Don't leave any overtakes on the table.
The rule changes are working. Briscoe inches ahead. Carpenter will not give up. At the line, it's going to be Briscoe. 1.5 miles at Chicagoland Speedway. 13 cars are on the lead lap, and they're all running within 0.6 of a second. Here comes the win, and who is it going to be? Briscoe! Briscoe has the advantage, and he gets the win. the second. Ryan Briscoe, the leader.
Oh, you can't believe it.
Got it. Now the cone is disintegrating under the car. This topsy-turvy points race has turned upside down. The final event of 2009. Briscoe has done all he can to win the championship, but he lacks fuel to go to the finish. And what a championship that's played out. Dario Franchitti wins the Firestone Indy 300 and is the champion for 2009.
Great job to everybody.
So as you can see, just about anything can happen on the road to the 2010 IZOD IndyCar Series Championship. The crowd behind me thinned out. People are heading to their seats so we can get this show on the road. You remember the Blues Brothers, Jake and Elwood, spent some time here in Joliet? Well, here are the other three Blues Brothers that the family just doesn't really like to talk about. Bob Jenkins, Jan Beekes, and Robbie Buell.
But there will be no singing tonight. You know, there's something to be said about road course racing. Challenge to the drivers, the strategy that's involved, but there's also something about oval track racing. This is the night we've been waiting on since Texas in early June. 200 miles an hour plus here at Chicagoland, and the only thing certain about tonight is that nothing is certain.
Well, the common theme from all the drivers is unpredictable. And what's unpredictable about this racetrack is you never quite know what you have in your race car relative to your competitors till that green flag drops. Do you have enough downforce in the car to be good in traffic, but not so much that you're slow if you're leading that pack? Are your tires going to be good through your 50-lap stint and keep you a good balance in the race car? And do you have enough confidence to get up on the top side of this racetrack? This track has a lot of grip, and there are 3 grooves, but you got to have enough confidence in yourself and your race car to get up on the top side of this racetrack.
And Robbie, you mentioned downforce level, and in the final practice last night, there was not a consensus, even amongst teammates, of what downforce level do I run. If you're light, you can run at the front on downforce, but as soon as you slide to the back, you're in trouble. If you run heavy, the car is nice and comfortable, but can you get to the front? So for Penske, they had 2 cars light, 1 car, Ryan Briscoe, running some downforce. Andretti Autosport, all 3 cars with downforce. Marco Andretti didn't have it, liked running light. If it stays that way, that is a recipe for some great racing.
And Lindy has already pointed out, Jan, we have 29 cars out there. It's going to be busy all night long.
It's going to get your attention. We've talked for a long time, like you said, Bob. 29 cars at Chicagoland. Look out.
Yeah. And Marco Andretti, thinking that he doesn't need an extra downforce in this car, for the guy that likes going way upstairs here, it's going to be exciting.
It sure is. We can't wait till the green flag comes out. Thanks for joining us on IndyCar Central on Versus, presented by Firestone. If there's something you need to do before the start of this race, get it done, because when we come back, we'll have the command.
The IndyCar Central pre-race is presented by Firestone, the first name in Indy racing.
The stage is set. It's Saturday night just outside Chicago, and the Eyes on IndyCar Series rolls into town and back onto an oval track. Series points leader Will Power has taken the trophy home 5 of 9 times on road courses this season, bringing him to a healthy lead for the championship.
The win goes to Will Power.
But Power has never reached victory lane on an oval track, and chasing him down are the last 2 series champions and teammates, who between them have won 28 times on ovals, including 1 each this season.
Indianapolis 500-mile race.
The oval stretch and the championship countdown begins in Chicago tonight, where you can win or lose a race in less than the blink of an eye.
It's going to be Briscoe.
Dario Franchitti and Scott Dixon dared to deliver their final 4-race punch and give this year's road warrior Will Power a run for his money toward the championship. For the 14th time this year, the Eyes on IndyCar Series drivers are about to get the green flag tonight at Chicagoland Speedway for the Peak Antifreeze and Motor Oil Indy 300. Not since Las Vegas has there been so many cars in the field outside of the Indianapolis 500. 29 ready to race 200 laps, 300 miles at this always competitive mile-and-a-half oval. Team Penske in the Eyes on IndyCar Series here at Chicagoland Speedway. Will Power, his 5th last year. Ryan Briscoe, the defending champion of the race, and Helio Castroneves finished 20th last year. Series beginning tonight, the stretch run. Only 4 more races in the season, and they are all on mile-and-a-half ovals. It's a beautiful night for racing. Hardly a cloud in the sky. We're just outside of Chicago, near Joliet, Illinois, and it is now time to get the command that will get this event underway.
Race fans, are you ready? It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome Chief Executive Officer of Vantage Specialty Chemicals, Julian Steinberg, as he gives the command.
Drivers, start your engines.
Cars come to life and will momentarily be moving away from pit lane for 2 warm-up laps before getting the green flag and the start of tonight's race. Yesterday here at Chicagoland Speedway, qualifying was held, and Will Power's string of 3 straight peak pole positions was broken. And it was broken by Ryan Briscoe, who toured the track at a 2-lap average of 216.346 miles an hour. It was Briscoe's 3rd pole of the year, his 3rd straight here, and he becomes only the 4th person in series history that has happened. As was the case at Infineon Raceway last weekend, Mario Andretti is at the front of the field with the Izod 2-seater, and his passenger in the car this week is the winner of the Honda sweepstakes. She is Patricia Cox from Melbourne, Florida, and the car begins to move away. What an incredible thrill this must be. Patricia, Bob Jenkins up in the Versus booth. Can you hear me? Mario moving up through the gears. Patricia, can you hear me? Well, apparently not. There we go. If I were her, I would be a little scared too.
Yeah, she's waving, but she's not talking to us.
What an incredible thrill it must be to get to ride with the 4-time national champion and the 1969 winner of the Indianapolis 500, Mario Andretti. Honda's fastest seat in motorsports sweepstakes was so popular, they're going to do it again. Go to shophonda.com to sign up for your chance to start an IndyCar race at Homestead Miami Speedway in the Izod IndyCar 2-seater driven by Mario Andretti. Official rules at shophonda.com. All right, here is the starting lineup for tonight's race. Besides Briscoe in row number 1, it is Dario Franchitti, the winner of the 2007 race here. In row number 2, points leader Will Power and Chicagoland's 2008 winner Helio Castroneves.
And Will Power was the fastest car at over 218 miles an hour in final practice. Does not seem intimidated in any way.
Starting 5th, Marco Andretti, his 9th top 10 start of the year, and Graham Rahal coming off a 9th place finish last Sunday at Infineon.
And for Graham, this has been about a year since he's been on a 1.5-mile super speedway. Very happy with his qualifying run. He's been good ever since they rolled that car right off the trailer. They've been fast.
In the 4th row, Dan Weldon, the only 2-time Chicagoland winner in the field, and Hideki Muto. Row number 5, Ryan Hunter-Reay, who has 7 straight top 10 finishes, and Takuma Sato, his first race here at Chicagoland. As you take a look at the rest of the starting lineup, 4 races have been won from the pole. Helio Castroneves started 28th in 2008 and won. The most lead changes here at Chicagoland in 2004 when there were 23. The closest finish in Izod IndyCar Series history occurred here in 2002. And 4 of the top 6 closest finishes in series history have occurred here. A series record 5 females will start in tonight's race. We go back to row number 11, and we see that Anna Beatrice is one of the 5 females starting in tonight's race. In row number 12, Justin Wilson and Vitor Mira. Couple of females in row number 13, Sarah Fisher and Milka Duno. In the 14th row, Simone Di Silvestro and Davey Hamilton, his first start since the Indianapolis 500. And Jay Howard starts in the final row. Let's go down to Jackaroo to the Izod Performance Pit Center.
We've all gone on a journey, and we've hit the button on our GPS, and it tells calculating. Basically, that's what you're going to be doing if you're the guy that's calling the race tonight. You're going to be calculating the following things. You want to count backwards. You want to be in the right position at the end. Somewhere during the race, as your GPS is recalculating, you want to see what kind of fuel mileage you've got. And finally, what you want to do is test your car. Does it run well when you're leading or when you're following? If all that works out right with the final 20 miles, at the end of all that, your GPS will say you've reached your destination. That'll be Victory Lane here in Chicago.
Field kind of spread out right now, but the back of the field is catching up to the front, which is just now entering turn number 3. Well, folks, hang on. This is going to be unbelievable with 29 cars starting in the most competitive race and racetrack that we have ever seen in series history. And here we go. Off of turn number 4, looking for the green flag, and the Apex Brazil green flag experience. Our energy is out. Here we go at Chicagoland.
One guy to keep an eye on, that blue and white car on the top side, Tony Kanaan. He's known for running up top in the opening laps.
3 wide racing in the middle of the pack. Danica Patrick moves from the middle to the top of the racetrack, and here they come to complete lap number 1.
And Scott Dixon, that is, of course, Tony Kanaan now with the new colors that Robbie was talking about, went to the high side, made a nice move.
Franchitti and Elio Castroneves battling for the second position. Elio in a bit different car. He is wearing blue and orange uniform tonight on the car as we look back from Ryan Briscoe's perspective on the battle for second position.
And if you look back there, the guy on the highest side of the racetrack, we talked about him at the top of the show, that's Mark Randretti. Look at him, just sneaking up top. So he's always going to be getting up on the high side of that racetrack, making sure that the track's clean for when he really needs to get up there and make it stick.
Wow, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 right together on the racetrack behind Ryan Briscoe.
It looks incredibly calm out of the back of his car, doesn't it? Just on that one car until you get them all 3 wide from this angle.
Kanaan on the high side now of Dan Weldon, 2-time winner at this racetrack. Weldon up, Kanaan is up 7 positions, Schechter up 5, Howard, who started last, up 5, Rafa Matos is up 3, and Weldon 2 in the early going of this race. And now Ryan Briscoe's lead has diminished, and here comes the field.
They sure do. Now, Kanaan, you remember at the top of the show, Dixon said, oh, I'm just going to kind of follow Kanaan up there. Well, he sure hasn't. Dixon's still back in the 12th spot. We don't want to count him out, but he didn't follow Kanaan all the way up there, did he?
Oh, we got a problem. Car spinning against the wall, a couple of cars, actually.
Well, that's Schechter back there driving in the Conquest car this weekend in the 36, right there.
That's the car that has been driven by Francesco Dracconi and Mario Romancini this year, but Thomas Schechter in the cockpit for this race. And now here is
Rafael Matos.
No, I believe, yeah, Rafael Matos.
That is a disappointment because talking with Rafa today, he's never been more confident in the car his crew guys had given him at this super speedway, and that was our conversation. Just incredible confidence.
And he was involved in the same accident, and I see Alex Lloyd has also had some contact, which would have cut down his tire. But Rafael Matos was in the initial contact, and I think he was trying to make it back to pit lane, and then, of course, had a secondary accident, not being able to get it stopped.
Let's take a look at what happened.
Up high. From the back, someone got into the back of Schechter. Matos up against the wall.
Yeah, and that was Matos that got in the back of Alex Lloyd. That's the one we just saw coming in with his right rear gone, and that was Rafa that just drilled him in the back right rear.
This is his teammate Hamilton.
Pick your spot, get through the grass, I'm okay.
Davey, of course, was eliminated on the very first lap of the Indianapolis 500. He sees his teammate involved in an early crash here at Chicagoland. So was Alex Lloyd in car number 19. Back in a moment.
The Peak Antifreeze and Motor Oil Indy 300 on Versus is presented by Peak Performance Products. When you peak, you win. And by Apex Brazil. To learn more about our Brazilian goods and services, log on to experienceourenergy.com.
500 drivers put complete trust in their cars. But when you're out on the road trying to make it to work, are you sure you can trust your motor oil?
Put your trust in Peak Performance Motor Oil. Formulated to protect against thermal breakdown, Peak is the only motor oil tough enough to be the official oil of the Indianapolis 500.
Whether you cover 500 miles in a few hours or it takes hours to get to work, you can count on Peak. When you peak, you win.
Idea, you know, because then they can run around our house.
Did you see that? My mom just took a bite of my Kraft macaroni and cheese. Just wait. She'll do it again.
Because I'm not saying that I did it perfectly either. But, hi, Eve.
The crime wave continues.
Gooey, creamy, delicious Kraft macaroni and cheese. You know you love it.
My boyfriend has one.
My girlfriend, my older sister.
She has 2 kids.
My college roommate who lives up north.
My mom. My neighbors.
Our neighbors.
My daughter. My daughter.
We were in the same class in elementary school. My boyfriend.
My parents. Our parents. My lovely wife.
And my husband has one.
Yeah, as well as a fellow I work with. My girlfriend, she moved out east.
I'm a city girl.
Everybody knows somebody who loves a Honda. Who do you know?
Under yellow here at Chicagoland Speedway because of a multi-car crash that occurred coming out of turn number 2. And again, here are the replays.
And it started a little farther up than we thought initially. Watch Will Power with the tracker there. He gets a little bit high, starts to get loose. Look how sideways that car gets. He comes down. Go ahead and let it roll. See how close he comes to Ed Carpenter. Now right behind, as the camera pans up, you can see that that's when the rest of the cars behind start taking avoiding action. That is Rafael Matos up against the wall. And he went a long way till that car finally came to a stop. And, of course, Schechter here. But, Robbie, here was the initial contact behind.
And the big sideways for Will Power seeing that is then the crowd. So there's Schechter. Look at Schechter just spinning. He ends up at the wall. Then to the right, there's Alex Lloyd with Rafa. Rafa gets the worst of that deal, rights off the right side of the car, and he's done for the day.
Vitor Meira had damage. Alex Lloyd also damaged. He's been in for a pit stop. We are under caution here at Chicagoland.
With 2 simple words. And now it's time to join in. Announcing the Claim Your Mazda Summer Sales Event. Enjoy the high resale value of Mazda 3, Mazda 6, the driver's alternative to Camry and Accord, or the 7-passenger Mazda CX-9. All available with 0% APR financing for 60 months, plus no monthly payments until November 2010. So why compromise? Claim your Mazda. Offer ends August 31st.
Play Hot Wheels Keys to Speed Instant Win Game for a chance to go to the Indy 500 and meet Danica Patrick.
Think you can handle it?
Find game pieces inside specially marked packages or go online to learn more.
Ready to ride?
Born ready.
Max Film, multi-purpose synthetic lubricant from Royal Purple. The easy spray answer to penetrate, lubricate, and leave a long-lasting film that protects. Forget old-school aerosols and break free with Max Film, multi-purpose synthetic lubricant from Royal Purple.
Select iPod IndyCar driver. Driver selected Tony Kanaan. Select race transport. Mission finish purpose. The fastest drivers in the world. See who wins at racetotheparty.com.
Three-time Indy 500 winner, Elio Castroneves. Danica Patrick into the lead, making history. Fans on their feet for the side-by-side action. Mario Franchitti, your series champion.
The IZOD IndyCar Series. Get tickets now. Call 866-INDYCAR or visit IndyCar.com.
NASCAR comes to Versus with the Whelen Southern Modified Tour, and the race is on with short tracks, open wheels, and high-speed thrills. Versus takes you back where NASCAR got its roots. The NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour from Caraway Speedway, Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, only on Versus, with Jack Arute doing the play-by-play. All right, there is Will Power. He is in 9th position, but he got very, very sideways there in front of the accident, and we'd ask him about what it's like racing at Chicagoland.
Chicago's one of the highest placings I had, actually, in IndyCar in 2008. And it's a great track for racing because you can run 3 wide. And it's always, it's always really close there. You're running inches apart at unbelievable speeds.
And we have seen that in the first few laps of the race before we got to the caution that involved Thomas Scheckter. Lindy?
And first, we want to say that Thomas is okay. Secondly, from the driver's seat, what do you know?
I don't know. I just got hit up from behind. I'm not sure. Had a good race. I think I was past 5 cars there. Was just cruising along, and someone hit me straight up the back. I don't know what these guys are thinking so early on the race, but it happens. Feel bad for Conquest Racing. Not a lot of damage on the car, so we'll look for better things in Kentucky.
A lot has happened to you in a few days because this deal really came together last minute for you.
Yeah, and we qualified well, and we were racing well there, and I thought by warm-up we had definitely a top 10 car, but for someone to hit you from behind on one of these big tracks like that early on is just uncalled for, but that's what you get with some of these guys.
And any future plans for you?
Yeah, hopefully Kentucky and Miami, but we'll see after this.
Thomas, thank you.
Thank you.
Bob?
Thomas Scheckter's okay after the accident early on in the Peak Antifreeze and Motor Oil Indy 300 from Chicagoland Speedway.
Welcome back to the IZOD IndyCar Series. We're under yellow, about to take green. You're looking at Team Penske, number 6, Ryan Briscoe. You notice no wheel ramps, no extensions on the car. All 3 Penske drivers, you're not using those aerodynamic little nuggets they might be able to use. So they are not having the downforce that maybe some of the other team members have. We saw Will Power get squirrely. I talked to Clive Howlett. Was it because of those little nuggets not being on the car? He said, no, I think we just might have had a little cold tire. So guys, something to look for. And one guy with absolutely no downforce is Marco Andretti.
And we've talked, Robbie, a lot about Marco Andretti. Tony Kanaan, of course, had a fantastic run right off the start.
And part of why TK could do that, he had those extensions on. He had those tire kick-ups, so he has a little bit more downforce in the car, and he knows he has that. But watch him carry the momentum on the top side. A little bit of lift there, but look at him up top. It's like everybody else is out for a Sunday drive, and he's blasted along. And we see this is a signature move for this guy to do this at the start of the race. And we know Dixon knew that because he said at the top of the show.
He gained 7 positions, and Tony Kanaan is now running in 6th position. Jay Howard has actually gained the most positions since the drop of the green flag. He is up 10 as the field now begins to accelerate, come off corner number 4, and look for the Apex Brazil restart. And here we go once again.
Sure looked like a lot of people were changing position there well before green. I think race control is going to be trying to sort that one out.
Yeah, but on that break, Marco Andretti was on the overtake to push the pass. It gave him the boost to try and challenge Briscoe for the lead.
And he is is dropping into second position through turns 3 and 4. So Marco Andretti now runs second. Let's see if he tries to challenge for the lead. Held by Ryan Briscoe. This is the 8th race that Ryan has led this season, his 4th time in 5 oval races.
And Bob, the way that Ryan Briscoe was able to foil that attempt by Andretti, get the overtake himself. He did it to try and get that lead back, and it was successful.
A little defensive move. We heard Robbie talk about the tire ramps and kickups that give you that little extra nugget of downforce, he said. These two guys right here, Briscoe and Andretti, neither of them have it, so it may make it a little tougher for Marco to get up on that high side, but you know these guys are fast. Look at Marco's car just move around on the seams of the racetrack there. Very violent, really.
We have several of the girls. In fact, all 5 of the girls are running right together. Danica's leading Anna Beatrice. Then we have Sarah Fisher, Milka Duno, and Simona Di Silvestro. And Jay Howard is there, too. Of course, Jay Howard drives for Sarah Fisher Racing. As we go back to the front of the field, the battle is for 3rd position between Elio and Dario Franchitti. But now Marco looks to the high side of the racetrack.
And Bob, this is just what we've been talking about, predicting that those who have low downforce will go to the front first. But that doesn't mean that's going to work for you for the entire race. You know it'll work early on, but Tony Kanaan is a great example of someone with more downforce. He can take other lines, and he's happier in traffic.
Well, and the big risk when you don't have that extra downforce in the car, let's say something goes wrong and you get further back in the pack. When you have all that other air swirling around from the cars in front of you, it just is a lot tougher to stay flat-footed around this place. And if you can't keep the gas mashed, whoa, look at the aggressiveness.
Dixon.
There, was that Dixon?
Yeah.
See him?
Dixon is on the move. He's up to 7th position now.
But you have to mash the gas around here, and you have to have a car to keep that momentum to run high, low, in the middle. You don't want to get off the gas because it will kill the momentum. And that's why the grip and having that extra downforce is a good thing.
He goes right by Tony Kanaan on the low side.
Yep. Scott Dixon started this race in 15th position. That is his worst start since 2005. But it doesn't look like it was a bad qualifying effort right now. He is on the move, and we have 3 wide racing once again.
How about that?
Oh, look at Dixon go to the high side. Man.
And that Fuzzy's car, that's Ed Carpenter, who we haven't seen since May, doing a fantastic job.
Boy, he loves mile and a half race.
He does.
Hats off to Ed Carpenter. Remember, he was the one that was right next to Will Power when Will Power got sideways. Yep. He came down and almost clocked it, but he kept his cool, and now he's right up front.
Do you think there's 2 different approaches between Dixon and Kanaan? We saw what Kanaan did in the first lap. Now Dixon's come back by Kanaan. He's just kind of eased his way up the racetrack versus ran there in the first lap.
He just lost momentum now. I think that Tony Kanaan's going to get back by Dixon.
Well, first Dan Weldon on the bottom side of the racetrack will take the position away from Ed Carpenter, moving Weldon up to 5th. Carpenter is 6th, then Kanaan, then Dixon, then Ryan Hunter-Ray. Up at that high side in the green car this weekend.
Well, it absolutely is unpredictable around here. Ooh, look at the moving up the racetrack there. But it is absolutely unpredictable around this racetrack. And the one thing that just adds to that is if you're back in the pack, if you're 5th or 6th, you want to run hard, but you know that guy at the front, he can't break away. Nobody can break away totally and cut you off. You always have a shot to get back up in that lead pack at this facility.
Ed Carpenter has only run the Indianapolis 500 this year. This is his 2nd start in the Izod IndyCar Series as we go on board with Ryan Hunter-Ray. Lindy?
That he thinks is really cool. He says it's a tough field, but if you play your cards right and do your job, which clearly is what he's doing, he says, I think we have a good enough car to expect a top 5, and he says, I think we can contend for the win. This is his 101st career series start.
I to see Ed back in the series full-time next year. He's running for Vision Panther Racing in the Fuzzy's Vodka-sponsored car from Fuzzy Zeller from New Albany, Indiana.
And I think that's a real goal for him to finish this in the top 5 and maybe challenge. But the tough thing is when you're not running day in and day out in the series, the time lost down pit road, and when you're not doing that on a regular basis, that's where it gets really tricky to have that top 5 finish.
The first 8 cars are running within a second of each other. Ryan Briscoe has the lead, but by just a slight advantage over Marco Andretti and Dario Franchitti.
Select iZod IndyCar driver. Driver selected, Dan Weldon. Select race transport. Mission finish first. Fastest drivers in the world. See who wins at racetotheparty.com.
If you know passion, you know my name. If the roar of a race car gives you goosebumps. If you believe that no one ever remembers who comes in second. If you're into checkered flags, chugging milk, burning rubber. You know my name. If you've ever pressed your nose to a chain-link fence to get a closer look. If you own a pair of earplugs, if you know Andretti, Rahal, and Unser, you know my name. You know my name because I've been here from the very beginning. As vital today as I was over 100 years ago. 100 miles to go. I am a powerhouse. I am running wide open with no finish line in sight. I am the fire that never goes out. You know my name. I am then, I am now, I am forever. I am Firestone, and I am proud.
If you're like me, you want maximum protection for your engine. You demand it, and Peak delivers. No matter what you drive or how you drive it, nothing protects better than Peak.
Peak Long Life Antifreeze is formulated with an advanced organic technology to protect any engine of any make, any model, anytime. If you can drive it, Peak can protect it.
Make sure you get Peak protection. When you peak, you win.
Boy, it just doesn't get much better than this, does it? Look at this 5-car battle for the lead. Marco Andretti is running to the high side of Ryan Briscoe.
And Briscoe's teammate Elio's trying to kind of keep Marco honest and Briscoe honest by getting even higher up in that 3rd lane.
And Ed Carpenter is up on the high side also.
When you see that speed there of Marco Andretti, their overall lap times have dropped 2 miles an hour as soon as they went 2 by 2. When they were running more single file, they're running 2:14. Now they're down to 2:11, 2:12. It's slowed it down. Everyone else is packing up behind.
I was going to say, the people that makes really happy is when you're back about 8th back and you see 2, 2, 2 all lined up in front of you. Like, here we come, guys. Here we come. We're going to be part of this party.
We did have a crash in the early going of this event. Involved were Thomas Schechter. We've already talked with him. Now let's talk to the other man involved, Rafael Matos. Here's Lindy.
And Rafa, Thomas said from his point of view, he was just hit from behind. From your driver's seat, what's your take?
I'm not really sure what happened. I was just fighting very hard, trying to gain positions, and all of a sudden, Alex Lloyd slowed down right in front of me, and I tried to avoid him going high, and he just didn't give me enough room, and I hit him and the wall, and I think I was very lucky not to get airborne, but it's very unfortunate, crashing in the 3rd lap, but, I think the car was great. The HP car was very competitive, and just a shame.
Would you say, unfortunately, the highlight of your day was getting the birthday cake from your team before the race started?
Definitely, yeah. I have to thank the team for that, and just
Takuma Sato making a pit stop. Look at this, incredible. Now 10 cars are running within a second of each other. Marco Andretti has not been, he has led 2 laps, but Ryan Briscoe right now is in front. You know, after practice last night, which was only a half hour, I said then that I thought Marco was going to have a really strong race and a good race car tonight.
And he's able to hang on to it on low downforce. As soon as they went back to single file, Robbie, right up to 2:14.6. 3 miles an hour, bam, as soon as they get in line.
Yep, as soon as you get side by side. And that's some of the changes we made a year ago on these cars. When we took the half-inch gurneys off of those end plates, what it's allowed the cars behind to do is it's allowed them to draft up better. And they're quicker drafting up. But when you come alongside, you kind of hit that wall of air and you stop. And that's why they get stuck side by side there.
Now, Scott Dixon has dropped back to 12th position. As we keep a look on the battle for the overall championship, we'll tell you that Will Power is running in 6th position. Now he goes, Scott Dixon does, to the inside of Ryan Hunter-Ray and take that position, and also gets by Graham Rahal.
See how quick that happened?
Yeah.
Just 2 spots like that. I mean, when one guy just in front of you has to lift off that gas just a little bit, and you have momentum and you haven't lifted, that's how quick things can flip-flop around here. And it just makes it just absolutely intense from the cockpit.
Hey, guys, while we're watching Scott Dixon, let me tell you what I think he is doing. He's so renowned, he and Mike Hull, for doing this. They keep counting Dixon down to his first pit stop. Remember I told you one of the things when you're calculating your race, you need to make fuel? Scott Dixon right now, as I'm looking at his telemetry, is doing just that. They want to know how much fuel they've got. They know this is all Perry and thrust right now. Meanwhile, up front with Ryan Briscoe and Marco Andretti, guys, I find it interesting. Briscoe seems to have much better speed when he's in 5th gear. Marco Andretti seems to have better speed than he is in 6th gear. What's up with that?
Of course, Jack, you can choose whatever ratio you want to go in either of those slots. Typically, your 6th gear is when you're drafting. Your 5th gear is when you're leading. So you would expect that Ryan Briscoe would be in 5th, and behind, as he gets a draft, Marco Andretti would be in 6th.
Well, Jack was guessing what was going through Scott Dixon's mind. I went down to Mike Hull and asked him what's happening. He said, Robbie, it's nothing. And he pointed up to the board. He said, you know, the miles an hour dropped down like 3 miles an hour. So he bunched people up. I backed up. There's no concern here in the number 9 car whatsoever. And a funny thing is I talked to Danica Patrick earlier today, and she said, you know, I learned something from Scott in these 1.5-mile ovals. He'll pull up next to you, show you what he's got, and then drop back and wait. He's really not too concerned right now.
Look who's running in 3rd position, Dan Weldon in the National Guard car. A tremendous record here at Chicagoland Speedway and on the 1.5-mile racetracks.
Well, he's one of these drivers when you talk to different engineers and team owners. Dan has just a special talent to really feel that race car and be incredibly fast of driving off the right rear. There's a lot of guys that always have to have the front of that car leading, but he has ability to really drive off that right rear. And it can be fast. It can bite you, but you can be fast. And the National Guard car, he's looking solid.
He is. He won in 2005 and 2006 here at Chicagoland Speedway.
Talking with his engineer, David Cripps, one thing he said is, you know, yeah, you want to be flat around this racetrack all day long to keep the momentum. But as you keep putting laps on these tires, his engineer thought that it's going to be tough. It's not a no-brainer to run flat out around this racetrack all day through that 50-lap stint. So that'll be something we'll have to watch.
It's Ryan Briscoe leading the Peak Antifreeze and Motor Oil Indy 300, and Marco Andretti running 2nd.
There's a reason why. In 5 years of powering every car in the Indianapolis 500 race, not a single Honda engine has failed. It's not the parts we make them from. It's the part we put in to every Honda.
I love this Miller Lite aluminum pint.
Oh, really? Why do you love it?
I love its wide mouth. I love its resealable cap. I love that it's a pint. I love that great Pilsner taste.
Okay. Well, why do you love me?
And when we go out, and then I like what you're doing with this. You know, just I love all your teeth.
The aluminum pint from Miller Lite. Just one more way to love the taste of your beer. Taste greatness.
Why do you love me?
You're my soulmate.
Ditto.
Feel the excitement? That's peak performance. And it's electric.
With the Peak Jump Starter, you don't need another car to jump your dead battery. Just hook it up and start it up, and you're on your way. And the Peak Jump Starter has a low charge alert system. An alarm sounds when your jump starter needs recharging. Get a Peak Jump Starter, so you'll always have the protection of power when you need it.
Inside, outside, all around your car. When you peak, you win.
We know you want battles. We know you want border wars, a civil war, and a duel in the desert. You want the beehive boot, the bronze boot, and the spirit of Troy. You want cougars on horned frogs, cowboys on Aztecs. We know you want trophies made of axes and bells of victory. We know because we know college football. Catch Pittsburgh at Utah and Wisconsin at UNLV. The Mountain West and the Pac-10 on Versus.
Chicagoland Speedway, and it is still Ryan Briscoe showing the way, but Marco Andretti is a close second, then Weldon, Carpenter, Castro Neves. E.J. Viso is running sixth. Franchitti, Power, Ray Hall, and Dixon complete the top 10. Alex Lloyd, who was involved in that accident early on, has moved up after a pit stop to 13th position, so Alex is doing very well. Danica Patrick runs 14th. That is Ed Carpenter to the right of Dan Weldon. And now Weldon comes up to challenge Marco for second.
Oh, that's a tight squeeze. Ooh. Oh, wow. And Marco's trying to hit pit lane was what was happening there. Wow. Man.
Dan, I'm coming. I want in.
Already more than a fourth of this race has been completed.
And that surprises me because Marco Andretti obviously ran a lot of time behind Ryan Briscoe. You would have thought he'd get a little better fuel economy. Not good if you come in early when you're following, and Rahall's there too. Lindy?
And Graham Rahal in, he said the rear of the car has not been too good, but he's been using his tools on the inside. He said it feels a lot better now. He says the O2 car feels really good up high on the track. Robbie?
A tire change at full fuel. This is the car he said has the best chance of winning for 2010. He likes his car better than anything he's driven so far this year.
Ryan Briscoe, the leader, has also come in for a pit stop.
And the two teammates, Weldon and Carpenter, still out there. Did not have to stop, as well as Castro Neves and Franchitti.
And a huge challenge at this racetrack. When you come into pit road under green conditions, like you come off at turn 3 and you get down to the flat, and it's almost off camber. But you need to challenge that flat, and it's really hard. I mean, if you give up a second there, we know what that can cost you on the racetrack.
Now several others make their first pit stop of the evening. Dan Weldon's crew goes to work on the National Guard car.
They go with sticker tires.
Left rear was getting hung up back there on the National Guard car.
Little problem, Robbie.
Planners 11, it looked like everything was all right for Tony Kanaan. We talk about how he had more downforce, able to maneuver the car. He said, you know, when you're young like Marco, you can do that, but I can't.
And for Castro Neves, they had to get out the quick lift. They could not get the fuel hose connected, it appeared. They had to go to the quick lift. And Carpenter went longer than anyone. Now he hits pit road.
And that's that area I was talking about. You come into that flat. Look at how Will Power just ate up Ed Carpenter as they coming down that pit end flat between 3 and 4.
Ryan Hunter-Ray moves back out onto the racetrack. Green flag pit stops taking place. Ed Carpenter's crew. And here comes Will Power. Down to the attention of the Verizon Team Penske crew.
Of course, Jackaroo told us how important fueling is, and that made a huge difference for his teammate, Castro Neves. Nice and smooth for Will Power.
8.8 seconds, and Will Power is back on the racetrack as Alex Lloyd now has taken over the lead. Remember, he did pit. Alex Tagliani gets credit for leading a lap. Briscoe, Andretti, Carpenter, Tagliani, and Lloyd have all led here during this sequence of pit stops.
There were quite a few people that ducked in on lap number 9, and one of those was Alex Tagliani. And Lloyd, yes.
Yeah. So there is Alex Lloyd as Justin Wilson comes in for his first scheduled pit stop.
Another one who pitted on lap 9, so we have a couple different sequences of those who pitted early.
Davey Hamilton has moved to second position. Here comes Sarah Fisher down pit lane. She is getting back into the race. Sarah will also be at Kentucky Speedway next Saturday night here on Versus. And now Lloyd drops down to the apron of the track, and he will relinquish the lead. Simona Di Silvestro in for a stop, and now Davey Hamilton also will enter pit lane.
60 mile an hour right there at those yellow Sunoco cones.
And he has the very first pit, and that oftentimes when you're coming off that warm-up lane, that can be a tricky spot to get into.
Yeah, because he has to go slower than that 60 mile an hour point before you get to it so he can get in his box and stop. Hometown crowd here for Dale Coyne.
Vitor Mira led briefly because he last pitted on lap 13. So this is all kind of cycling through depending on when you stop early.
Vitor got out of sequences. He was also involved in that incident earlier. We didn't really see where it was, but he banged up his left front wing. They came in and replaced that nose.
Well, when all these pit stops are completed, Ryan Briscoe should be back at the top of the field with Andretti, Franchitti, Dixon, and Kanaan running behind him. It's still a very close battle out there on the racetrack as Marco Andretti has found Briscoe once again as they run first and second. Well, the pit stops are completed, and now we concentrate on more racing. But first, we'll take a break from Chicagoland Speedway.
How important to be up front, or can you win from anywhere in this 29-car field? Ryan Briscoe and Dario Franchitti will lead the field to the green flag.
Here we go at Chicagoland.
2 cars together.
Oh, we got a problem. Green flag racing right now as Ryan Briscoe and Marco Andretti are running first and second. Dario Franchitti is third, and Alex Lloyd, who led for a time before he came in for his second pit stop, is now going to have to enter pit lane once again. These guys with about a 1-second advantage on the third-place car of Dario Franchitti, then Dixon, Kanaan, Power, Hunter Ray, Carpenter, Ray Hall, and Viso. The big loser during that sequence of pit stops was Dan Weldon, who was 14th, and he's moved up now to 12th as, once again, Marco challenges Ryan.
And Bob, we were watching that interval that you said was a second to Dario Franchitti. Not long ago, that was a second and a half. So the cars behind these two are closing in fast.
Well, when you see Marco behind Briscoe there, you see him he's darting around. And what he's doing is he sneaks in right behind Briscoe right there. So he's getting drafted and pulled along, and then he pops up. He knows he's maybe not going to make the pass, but he's going to keep his momentum going and not breathe off the gas. And then, obviously, as he hits that wall of air, he's going to slow down a little bit, and then he'll duck right back behind him right there, slipstream a little bit more, and then just keep popping out. So that's what all the darting is going on. So he can keep his momentum and stay in that draft.
Well, to talk about that, though, Robbie, why does he not just run right on Briscoe's gearbox? They would run faster collectively together. He would save fuel. He has to make up a lap because he pitted 1 lap earlier than Briscoe. I would ride right on his gearbox and try and work together, get clear, and then worry about Briscoe.
Yeah, so what you're saying is stay right on his gearbox and just feather back on your throttle a little bit, save fuel, versus keeping that momentum and always popping up to the high side and not breathing out of the throttle.
Well, we'll see which technique he adopts.
Well, look at there you talk. Dario's, 2 car lengths back, followed by Dixon.
We have had 7 leaders and 12 lead changes in the first 73 laps of this race.
The answer to the question is that Marco Andretti knows if he can find any way to get past Briscoe, that is his shot. That somehow, because Briscoe is so fast and solid when he's leading on the bottom of the racetrack, I bet he thinks his only defense is, I've got to figure out a way to get by him, get ahead, and let him run in dirty air.
And that sets up what Jack said is, you're setting up everything for that last stop. And what you want to do is you go into that last stint of this race. You want to know where you are strong relative to your competitors. And that's maybe what he's sizing up. Jack, you got
more? Well, I want to take you back to that first set of green flag pit stops. You see Elio Castroneves running out there right now, but I want to go back to some of the mistakes or some of the things that you have to do when you're using a night race. This is Sean Hanran, and look at his left arm. You see the light there? The idea is to try and give Castroneves a place where he can do it. You notice Hanran was a little slow on that right front. The rear guy should be able to do it faster than should be doing it slower than Hanran. Now they had to go to the quick flip to get him back out so he could pull out. And he's being held because they have to restart the car. This is what was costly. You see where the fuel was going in? It took too long. Now look at Dan Weldon. He was running up front. Now watch Ryan Negrin on the back. When we make the shift, and we can pan the camera just a little bit. There you go. See how Negrin tries to use his chest to put it on the pins? It doesn't seat. Those are precious seconds ticking off. And at 216 miles an hour, hey, that's over a football field every second.
And that little mistake there on pit lane, yeah, it added a couple extra seconds with him getting that left rear on. But Weldon came in the third spot. He's now running 12th.
Yep. And we have a caution on the racetrack. Yellow on the racetrack for the second time. Don't see any particular problem out there.
So if you're in a fuel save mode right now, as soon as it goes yellow, you want to get your car in top gear and then go to a constant throttle, something you're not moving up and down, so you can make fuel, as Jack always says, as part of that strategy.
Anna Beatrice in the Daz root beer car is on the apron of the racetrack. She's running in 17th position.
And when the caution comes out, the pits are closed, so if she's coming on the pit road, most likely it would have been an incident with her. Oh,
there you see it.
Very high.
Yep.
And white walls.
Yep. And so that was the reason for the caution. Down to Lindy with Alex Lloyd.
Alex, you had a problem at the beginning. Did that in any way play into what's happened now?
No, I don't know what happened in the beginning. I think he checked up, something happened to him, and we went right up and touched the back of him, and somebody hit the back of me, and they burst the right rear tire. So there was no damage after that. We changed tires, came back out, had to start last, obviously, but we came through the field really well, and we had a really fast race car, and we led some laps then, and we were going really well, and it's just a shame for the Boy Scouts America guys because we had a car that was probably capable maybe of a top 5, certainly a top 10. So it's very disappointing because it could have been a big day for us, and here we are on the sidelines. So we're not really sure what happened then. We lost drive, and that was that.
Alex, thank you. And Jack, Alex thinks they could have had a car in the top 5 today.
That's too bad, Lindy. You know, we talk all the time about the differences of racing. Well, this is Ask Mr. Wizard today. If you've got fendered cars, take a couple of fans. See, when you put wheel donuts, no harm, no foul, but that's not what we're talking about when we're running in the IZOD IndyCar Series. I've taken the shields off of these, so when these guys rub tires, you see what happens? You were rubbing the tires? Okay. I actually...
Don't cut yourself. Don't cut yourself.
I know. I was a little worried about it, and I actually killed one of them already, guys.
Be careful down there, Jack. You'll lose a finger.
I know. Hey, but that's what open wheel racing's all about. And when you're running this darn close, I'll tell you what, it takes your breath away.
Yes, it does.
That's a great analogy.
And the leaders are pitting, which is what you do in oval racing. When it's yellow, you pit. Right. Because when you pit under green, you always lose a lap. It's just par for the course, but they won't need much fuel. These will be fast.
Yeah, and fresh Firestone rubbers are always a good thing.
Pit lane becomes very, very active here. Let's see who does the best job and gets out first.
And Andretti will leave first because of his pit position, and Briscoe couldn't get as clean out as he wanted.
What can Power do? Power still comes out in the fifth spot, so both Franchitti and he stayed in his position, as did Dixon, relative to...
Oh, and Takuma Sato has turned around, headed the wrong direction. And Hideki Muto also doesn't have a left front.
Yeah, that's not a quick way.
The 16:45 on the side pod of his car indicates the time, Paris time, on September 30th, 2010, that Lotus will unveil several of their makes, including the car that we saw in the pre-race show last week, the GT4.
Well, probably what had happened to Hideki, he had come in for service, and obviously that left front hub didn't seat on that, and we went out, and we'll probably see where that left front kind of rolls away. Watch back. Oh, there you can see the left front tire. And that's where the contact came between Sato and Hideki, is when he left there, lost that left front, and that's where the contact came from.
Hey, guys, as Hideki Muto comes in to get that, you know, the responsibility, and you guys know this, responsibility is the outside tire changer. He is the one that's supposed to be looking to see what the traffic is, and that's it. So Hideki Muto has been serviced, and he'll go back out on the racetrack. Still under yellow here at Chicagoland in the Peak Antifreeze Indy 300.
500 drivers put complete trust in their cars. But when you're out on the road trying to make it to work, are you sure you can trust your motor oil?
Put your trust in Peak Performance Motor Oil. Formulated to protect against thermal breakdown, Peak is the only motor oil tough enough to be the official oil of the Indianapolis 500.
Whether you cover 500 miles in a few hours or it takes hours to get to work, you can count on Peak. When you peak, you win.
It started with 2 simple words, and now it's time to join in. Announcing the Claim Your Mazda Summer Sales Event. Enjoy the high resale value of Mazda 3, Mazda 6, the driver's alternative to Camry and Accord, or the 7-passenger Mazda CX-9. All available with 0% APR financing for 60 months, plus no monthly payments until November 2010. So why compromise? Claim your Mazda. Offer ends August 31st.
I compete with sugarcane ethanol.
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 I compete with sugarcane ethanol. Ethanol is the fuel we use on every IZOD IndyCar race.
Cane ethanol diversifies America's fuel supply.
And it should be in your tank. It's in mine. Learn more about advanced, renewable sugarcane ethanol.
IndyCar racing is extremely physical. Extremely physical. Handling that 650 horsepower car. You can feel the engine kicking your butt. You're in a car and it's beating you up.
Your head hurts, your back hurts, your muscles ache.
I've gone into some races where after the 3rd or 4th lap, I'm like, how many laps to go?
We will go back to racing in one more lap. And Sarah Fisher's at the front of the field. The first laps that she has led since Kentucky 2002. Only the 4th race she has led in her IZOD IndyCar Series career. Jack?
I want to take you back to the last, where I'm bored with TK, the last pit stop. I watched the finish of TK. Everybody's pulling back up. I want to watch in the rear wing. You see the green car? That's Danica Patrick. TK was very slow in the acceleration lane, and that caused Patrick to have to check up. They talked about that in the driver's meeting. There's a lot of defensive. You see, you've got an acceleration lane and a deceleration lane, and that's exactly what happened with Takuma Sato.
Oh, we still got
look at the problems on the racetrack there. Tagliani has gotten into it somewhere.
Yeah, we were going to go green, but something went wrong as they were about to come down for
damage on the left side pod there of Tagliani's car. There you can see his wheel flip. That left rear wheel flip is hanging out, so that's been tweaked.
And you see the right front is off the ground, meaning that the left rear has damage.
Yeah, there's something flapping in that left rear suspension.
All right, here's what happened.
Oh, look at just a big, huge stack up.
Mira into the back of Muto, and then Muto into Tagliani.
Hey, guys, do you think that was anticipation of the green flag? Because we were getting close to the go zone.
Yeah, they'd been given the one to go signal.
Those guys were kind of laying back. They thought they were in that go zone, but the cars up in front of them said no.
Yep.
And that's your checkup, send it off. And that's really what started. It was Mitor at the furthest back of that group starting to go, and then all of a sudden checked up, and that's what kind of set that up.
So they're assessing the damage on Tagliani's car. You can see the front wing on Vitor Mira's car for AJ Foyt Racing. Tagliani's only raced here at Chicagoland one time. He's getting out of the car. His race here was in 2008 when he finished in 12th position. Apparently will not be that good tonight.
Vitor Mira gets his second nose wing set of the evening.
Yeah, it's safe to say they don't have another one of those waiting back on the truck. After you've gone through two, I think if you have to go to the third, you're thinking maybe that's the time you got to put it. Yeah. Tag's not happy.
Nope.
Anytime you get hit from behind.
Big hole in the side pod. Yeah. Well, 1 week from tonight, September the 4th, we will be at Kentucky Speedway on another 1.5 mile oval for the Kentucky Indy 300 as we continue the race to the 2010 championship. There will be 3 races to go at the Kentucky Indy 300. You can see it next Saturday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central, here on Versus. And, of course, the other 2 races that we will have for you as we go to the championship are at Motegi, Japan, and Homestead, Miami Speedway. Lindy?
Takuma with an incident in the pits. What happened?
It looks like I was hit by a teammate after the pit stop. Need to go to see everything. Start was good. After the race, I had a flat tire. So I had to come in, change the tire, but back in the sequence and all looked good. And the pit stop, all good, and then go out and the teammate hit me.
So you say EJ hit you?
Yeah. Obviously, I don't know. We need to investigate what was exactly what happened, right? Because it's unnecessary completely.
Takuma, thank you.
Takuma Sato's best finish this year was 9th at Edmonton. He has had quite an up and down year, and it is his 8th DNF for this year. And Milcaduno also has 8 DNFs. Mario Moraes with 5, Muto, Di Silvestro, and Alex Lloyd with 4. Alex also out of tonight's contest. So Johnny Rutherford is at the front of the field once again in the Honda Pace car as the pace is slowed here with 88 laps completed. We're nearing the halfway point, and again, Sarah Fisher is at the front of the field with Ryan Briscoe running second, Dario Franchitti third, then Marco Andretti and Will Power.
Hey, Bob, let's check in with Al Spire. They got a chance. The Firestone people have been able to look at the tires. What's the wear factor?
Well, yeah, Jack, we have engineers and technicians all up and down pit lane. So after that first pit stop, a wear check is very critical for us. These new Firestone Firehawks that we tested here in June are wearing exceptionally well. Some only 50% worn. So we get near the end of the race. I'm not sure anybody will double stint, but if it's just a few laps from the end, they could easily just take fuel and not change tires.
You know what? Time to recalculate yet again, because that changes a little bit of strategy when you know that maybe if you have to go maybe a stint and a half, you don't have to change those tires, you can make it real quick.
Saw Simona Di Silvestro get a new front end on her car, and now we get the 1 to go signal from Tom Hansing, who is the starter for tonight's race. Lindy?
EJ, your teammate Takuma says you hit him here in the pits. What do you say?
That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not here to say who hit who. I just pulling out of my pits. I listen to the radio to stay inside. That's what I did, and it's one of those race incidents. I think it's also with cold tires. I'm just in the inside. I had nowhere to go. In the other side, I need to really congratulate these guys. I had a winner's car. I started 16th. I was running with the leaders. Car was amazing, and it's a freaking shame that stupid thing took this out of our hands.
Bob, it'll have to be worked out between teammates.
His best finish was on the shorter oval at Iowa. He finished in 3rd position, and now let's try to get this thing back underway again. There you see the oval finishes for Sarah Fisher.
Wow, Ryan Hunter-Reay, you see him come flying down the low side again. People passing before the green.
But he checked up. He came with some momentum, but then he stopped all of a sudden. It looked like a little bit.
Race control tells Ryan Hunter-Reay to drop back.
Yeah, so he had that run.
He corrected
and then you saw that, and I'm like, well, it looked like he stopped, and he was being told he better stop.
On board with TK, Tony Kanaan. He's running 8th. And Ryan Briscoe goes to the front once again, passing Sarah Fisher. Comes Dario and Marco to challenge Sarah.
Again, Marco's still cleaning that high side of the racetrack, and another guy that's always running high as we look back to the kind of the cue as they come off turn 2 and off 4 is kind of that white car you'll pan back to, and that's Graham Rahal. He really likes coming off the high side of that race car.
3 wide now as Marco still tries to get to the top side of Dario.
And that is Graham right at the tail end, right behind Dixon was that purple. Yep. There's that quick trim car of Graham.
Saw in the pre-race show about one of Sarah's crew members, Kerry Hall. This is his last race, suffering from Lou Gehrig's disease. Now Ryan Briscoe, and we look back on the battle for second on back, and they go 3 wide.
You just don't get a sense of the banking of this racetrack looking back from that camera at that pack going 3 wide coming down in there. You got to get out and walk on this racetrack or go in a streetcar and go slow, and it almost feels like it's tipping over. That gives you a better sense of the 18 degrees of banking around this place.
First 10 cars within a second of each other. On board with Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Boy, Sarah Fisher likes that clean air.
Yeah.
She's staying there, and she looks in the mirror and says, wow, do I have a group of people on my tail.
Right on board there, Hunter-Reay looking up there at Kanaan, just the movement in the car, just the loading up of that right side as you bury into this banking.
Once again, Ed Carpenter is a player, running 4th.
Guys, I'm beginning to wonder if Ed Carpenter remembers that Kentucky battle that he had with Ryan Briscoe. Because when you look at the overtake button, they started, everybody was fairly equal at the beginning of the race. But right now, Ed Carpenter has the most at 18 of the front runners. He is using them very judiciously. I think he wants all that he could have at the end of the race. Remember, that's when he tried to stay in the hunt in Kentucky last year.
Boy, that was a great race for Ed. We thought he was going to win it.
Yeah, I think what that also says, Jack, is absolutely how strong his race car is right now as he's working the high side of Sarah Fisher, chasing down Briscoe.
Kerry Hall, we wish you the best, and thank you for your service to Sarah Fisher Racing. All the best to you from all of us at Versus. Carpenter challenges Sarah Fisher, but man, Sarah's just hanging right in there, isn't she?
Just shows you how evenly matched all these race cars can be.
And how much they love clean air. And the bottom of the racetrack, which Ryan Briscoe has both right now.
Yeah, that's where he's been impressive, is just how fast he's been with staying on that bottom. When Marco was challenging, he just stayed right on the bottom, coming off both corners, and has been faster than get out.
Another car on the move is the one running right behind this trio lined up is Mario Marias, who restarted in 17th on lap 90 and is now up to 5th. Down to Lindy Thaxton.
With Alex Tagliani and tags, it seemed Mira hit Muto and then hit you.
Yeah, it's a
shame for the Bowers and Wilkins Tour Cup machine because I'm so proud of the team. They did a fantastic job. The car was a rocket ship tonight. You know, we had a little bubble. We ran out of fuel, and then we lost a lap. But you know, the race was still a long way to go. Spotter did a good job, good restart, and then I got hit from behind. So I'm so disappointed, but at the same time, I'm so proud of this team because, again, just before the race, they got their car back, and we were really strong.
Tex, thank you. And we heard him say literally right before that, guys, you did an amazing job on this car. Bob, we're halfway through.
It's been a strong team all year long, really, for a first-year team. There you see the advantage enjoyed by Ryan Briscoe. It is about 0.8 of a second, but boy, behind him, it is anybody's game. We will take a break and be back with more of the Peak Antifreeze and Motor Oil Indy 300 from Chicagoland Speedway on Versus.
Keys to Speed instant win game for a chance to go to the Indy 500 and meet Danica Patrick.
Think you can handle it?
Find game pieces inside specially marked packages or go online to learn more.
Ready to ride?
Born ready.
I was pretty skeptical at first. I just didn't think I would find something that would last. It's been almost 30 days now, and it's still as great as it was day one. I think it's pretty safe to say I found the one that I love right here. Oh, excuse me. It's my Miller Lite Home Draft. I really think that I have something special here.
The Miller Lite Home Draft. Fresh from your fridge for up to 30 days. It's real draft beer with that great Pilsner taste you love. Taste greatness.
Or just grab those chips. Excuse me.
At TireRack.com, we stock an incredible number of tires, nearly 1 million tires. But we don't just stock them, we test them. And we post user reviews so you can find which tires are the best for you and your car. All this at a price that won't slow you down. And that's 1 in a million, or in most cases, 4 in a million. The biggest selection of tires. One More Way Tire Rack is revolutionizing the way you buy tires. TireRack.com. Research, buy, deliver, install.
You can buy Royal Purple for increased horsepower. Superior protection and fewer oil changes come at no additional charge. Royal Purple is available at quality oil change centers and auto parts stores nationwide. Find one near you at royalpurple.com.
Cargo Incognito. Introducing the Accord Cross Tour from Honda.
3 wide racing at Chicagoland Speedway. Sarah Fisher is hanging in there in second position. She's gotten challenges from Marco Andretti and from Will Power, and she just will not give up that second position. Way to go, Sarah. Meanwhile, Ryan Briscoe continues to lead. He has moved out to about a 1.5 second advantage.
And he's just looking in his mirrors, kind of laughing, saying, you guys, you see whatever you do back there.
Hey, Will Powers on the overtake assist, trying to get by Sarah Fisher earlier. And wow, Scott Dixon got really high and had to dump the throttle.
He did. And Graham Rahal goes by.
Yeah, and we said once you got to get out of that throttle, the momentum shift, and we saw Graham Rahal just coming down the inside of him.
Ed Carpenter and Sarah Fisher now. Marco Andretti has taken second, and now Ed Carpenter inches ahead to third. And side-by-side racing is Mario Moraes there on the left, and Tony Kanaan, with whom we ride.
He's got a bit of a run. There he pops to the high side. He's alongside Moraes. And you heard him just get out of the throttle a little bit there.
Just briefly.
And Moraes comes back. So just that little hiccup on the throttle, boom, the guy comes back on the inside.
To second position ahead of Marco Andretti, so the points leader and the guy who did so well on the road and street courses is doing quite well on the 1.5 miles. Thank you.
And
Check out his aggressive move, going to the top, way to the top, to try and make a sandwich there, and gets too high, loses his momentum, as does Marco Andretti. He has to try yet again, but he is being aggressive tonight. That's twice we've seen him have to save
and you won't see every driver out here do that. Again, it comes back to confidence in yourself and confidence in your race team and race car to get it up top.
Now Sarah Fisher, who ran up front, led a few laps, comes in for pit stop. Rolls back out. And now Willpower and Andretti are both catching up to Ryan Briscoe.
Yeah, Briscoe was enjoying that for a little bit with nobody breathing down his backside, but they're going to be here right now.
Well, we learned a lot from Sarah Fisher, and that is that passing someone who's nice and solid on the bottom of the racetrack for the rest of this group is extremely difficult.
And let's also point out again that Marco has less downforce on the car versus Sarah as he's trying to do that, but he still couldn't get by on the high side.
And look at the top three. They're all together now.
They sure are. Right behind Briscoe, and then Andretti, completing lap number 115.
So if you're Marco right now and you're playing ahead and say, okay, this is the end of the race, and I know I've been struggling getting by people on the high side just because you stall out. With two cars in front of me, if I lay back and they're poking a big enough hole in the air, does that give me the momentum to slingshot more? I mean, that could be some of the games that the drivers are playing right now from the cockpit, setting themselves up for where they have to be and what they can get done at the end of this thing.
Izod fastest lap of the race on lap number 4. Scott Dixon, 218.4. Very early on in the contest. And we see Ryan Hunter-Reay now 8th. Got around Scott Dixon. First, second, and third right here.
You also saw in the Izod fastest lap graphic 4.2 Gs.
Yeah.
It's big G-force around these corners. And amazingly, 71% of the lap over 1 G. So this is not an easy racetrack when it comes to forces on your body.
6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th right here. Graham Rahal and Mario Marias are wheel to wheel. And so is Ed Carpenter and Tony Kanaan.
That really is an impressive stat. Is we talked about earlier that for 71% of this lap around here, you're pulling 1 G around this racetrack. That really is something. At a minimum.
All right. Ryan Briscoe leads Will Power, Marco Andretti, Tony Kanaan, and Ed Carpenter with 119 laps completed. We are racing at Chicagoland, 123 laps. Here's the recap.
And, of course, the start for Tony Kanaan was a barn burner. He picks up 5 spots by just standing on it, going to the high side, taking a big risk, showing what you want to do to make up positions early. However, on lap number 5, not good news for Alex Lloyd. Gets in the back of Schechter and Rafael Matos, hard up against the wall. That car didn't stop crashing until he got all the way down to turn number 3. That, of course, was started by a wiggle by Will Power. Then you had a full course caution. People coming on the pit lane. This is where you can make positions. Contact at the back for Sato. And Helio Castro-Neves did not get close enough to the pit wall to take the fuel. They had to use the quick lift, pull him over. Now he gets the fuel. Hideki Muto didn't get, the crew that is, didn't get the left front tight. He has to make a complete circuit. Shows how stiff these cars are. And before the restart, on lap 85, Alex Tagliani gets hit from behind as they have a bit of a checkup on the racetrack. And he says to his fellow compatriots what he thinks of that move.
And here's the summary. Briscoe leads, has led 102 laps. We've had 2 cautions for 21 laps, 8 leaders and 14 lead changes, and the average speed 160 miles an hour. Looking back from Ryan Briscoe's car onto Will Power. Third is Ed Carpenter, then Andretti and Kanaan.
Now, if you are someone like Dario Franchitti, Scott Dixon looking for championship points, and you know what Will Power's situation is, you do not want to see this. You do not want to see Briscoe followed by Power and you guys laying way back. They were certainly hoping for better fortune with this.
And Jan, I'm not sure if Will Power's tactician is real happy with him right now either. Clive Howell just came on the radio and said, remember who you're racing, not the guys that you're in there right now. We have to race Franchitti. Trying to hold the bit on Will Power because Power still wants to win his first oval race, Robbie Floyd.
I'm here with Clive Howell. Clive, is there any concern when your driver Will Power goes 3 wide pressing when he's the series points leader?
Not really. He just told me he knows what he's doing with a little expletive in the middle of it, so I'll leave him alone.
That tells me you must have said something to him?
Yeah.
Well, Jack told us that he said, remember who you're racing. So he heard back from Will Power.
But here you are, you got a good race car. There's your teammate. You're chasing him down. Everything feels good. And sometimes if you're a little more cautious out on the racetrack, you can set yourself up for more mistake versus just running hard. You know, what these guys know how to do is drive 110%. They don't know how to back it off. And just, I mean, it is a tough balance.
And you saw one car peeling off there. We're getting close to the pit window here. And pit stops under green. Remember, they all stopped together last on lap 80. So we'll get to find out here later in the race if there's any shifts in fuel economy.
And speaking of points, Ryan Briscoe has clinched the 2 points for leading the most laps. Ryan led 102 laps en route to his win in Texas. Sarah Fisher, we saw her make a pit stop, and she led for a long time, but now finds herself back in the 20th position. Briscoe has only led a total of 53 laps in the other 5 races that he has been out front this year. Tonight he has led 110 laps, the 5th time in his career that he's led more than 100 laps in a race. And there is Scott Dixon to the inside of Kanaan.
And if we stay on board here with Kanaan, watch, he'll get sucked along here. Look at the dash. Look at on his wheel right there. You'll see lights starting to get yellow and then red. That means that you have gotten into kind of used up that whole gear. And either you go to 6th gear, or when those lights get to red, you go along the rev limiter and the car goes blah, 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 and it doesn't accelerate anymore. So having the proper top gear for when you're in the draft is key, that you don't hit that rev limiter and stall out.
And Robbie, you know, on the dash, you also have a place for what's called the soft limiter. You can set below what the main limiter that Honda gives you. You can set just a couple of notches down so that before you get that, you do see those red lights. So that's the key to try and get the soft limiter and the hard limiter to be right in the middle somewhere.
That third car in line there is Alex Lloyd. We talked to him on pit lane a while ago, but he is back in the race. Dixon moving around him. Mario Marias makes a pit stop. So far, right now, there are 19 cars on the lead lap, and Ryan Briscoe is on the apron of the racetrack.
And that's that apron area where you got to challenge that apron and push it as much as you can all the way to that 60-mile-an-hour pit-in line right there.
And several others will also come in. There's Graham Rahal at the top of your screen. Tony Kanaan also.
Marco Andretti, yeah.
TK looks for his pit box. He gets it. Ryan Briscoe also is there.
Okay, how much fuel do you take right now? This may be a call when you short fill, get track position, or fill up, depending on where you want to get for that last stop.
For Briscoe, it appeared as though he took all the fuel.
Will Power took over the lead, but now he comes in.
And like we saw in the first stint, Ed Carpenter stays on the racetrack getting great fuel economy. Routine.
And Ed Carpenter also has come on to pit lane.
Oh, Dixon got by. Indy?
Ed Carpenter has asked for a wing change. You remember, this is a combined team with Panther and Vision. Kevin Kay, the team manager of the Vision, he is running the air jack on this crew, Bob.
And looking at that wing change, they were putting wing in it. When you looked at them turn that, they just were giving a little bit more downforce in the front of that car.
Ryan Hunter-Reay leaves his pit box.
Big smoky burnout here by Ryan Hunter-Reay.
And Weldon comes in. Weldon's had a good run.
He's hoping for a quicker stop. That's definitely what hurt him earlier in just track position. Remember, we had that when we kind of panned back on our onboard. We looked at that guy right there on the left rear, and he just almost got it hooked up that time.
Not this time. Good stop. 6.5 seconds.
Excellent stop.
Weldon. Vitor Meira shown as the leader of the race. There he is. He's off in pit sequence.
It really is amazing. I mean, we know Vitor's changed 2 front noses with contact, and here he is. Yes, he's still got to cycle through with regards to pit stops, but the fact that he's even leaving this race with two nose changes.
And look how much Dixon had gained on pit road, and I would not be surprised, Robbie, if he did exactly what you predicted. He had an extremely fast pit stop. I bet he didn't take all the fuel, and now he's right where he wants to be, ahead of Briscoe.
Here's the replay of what Jan was talking about.
So they both stop at the same time, and we're pretty sure that Will Power took all of the fuel. So if you see Scott Dixon leave before, well,
you know what?
Second or so.
I mean, that fueler pulled out pretty quick, but the fueler's still waiting for like a half a second, even though the tires were on.
And you can see him blow by Will Power, so it was that was fantastic pit work by the crew. Here's Marco
trying to get by TK's right rear tire laid out and doesn't put in rubber down.
Well, Carpenter had to come back in because they didn't get any fuel in the car. He's coming, has pushed his visor up. He's very frustrated. They keep trying to go. It's not working. You can see them trying to fire up.
You know, what did we say earlier? I said, you know, he's fast on the racetrack, but the biggest challenge when you're just not regularly in the series is things can go wrong. Whoa! That was power.
I thought he was headed right for the wall.
Yeah. But again, so with Ed, when you're not regularly making those stops, that's where it's tough on pit road.
Tough break for Ed Carpenter. Well, now the pit stops are over, and we once again turn our attention to the racetrack here at Chicagoland.
Peak Antifreeze and Motor Oil Indy 300 on Versus is brought to you by Apex Brazil. To learn more about our Brazilian goods and services, log on to experienceourenergy.com. And by Izod, the official apparel sponsor of the Izod IndyCar Series, available at Macy's.
My dad back there. The man loves his cheese. The only thing he likes more than cheese is more cheese. If he was eating cheese, he'd put cheese on it. He's like a cheese monster. And now Kraft's got this new thing, Cheddar Explosion. I really want to try it. That chance that's gonna happen.
Kraft macaroni and cheese just got cheesier. New Cheddar Explosion. You know you love it.
Select Izod IndyCar driver. Driver selected Marco Andretti. Select race transport. Mission finish first. Fastest drivers in the world. See who wins at racetotheparty.com.
It started with 2 simple words, and now it's time to join in. Announcing the Claim Your Mazda Summer Sales Event. Enjoy the high resale value of Mazda 3, Mazda 6, the driver's alternative to Camry and Accord. or the 7-passenger Mazda CX-9. All available with 0% APR financing for 60 months, plus no monthly payments until November 2010. So why compromise? Claim your Mazda. Offer ends August 31st.
With just a little more than 50 laps to go in our race here at Chicagoland Speedway, the top 10 cars are running within a second of each other. The leader is Dan Weldon. Second place is Ryan Hunter-Reay, and we're on board with him. Looking back to Dixon, Power, Andretti, Kanaan, Briscoe, Ray Hall, Castro Neves, and Franchitti.
And these are all real positions. This is not pit strategy. They all stopped at relatively the same time, within a lap or two. So they're not off sequence. These guys have made their way to the front after great pit work. And now Ryan Briscoe is back there, not leading on low downforce, struggling.
Let's still size up Briscoe. Ooh, look at Power.
Yeah.
Do you think Clive Howell's on the radio saying, hey, we're not racing those guys for the points?
No,
he's going by.
He gave up on that one.
Oh, look at this.
Wow.
Andretti looks high.
And look at there's Briscoe trying that high side. Look at it. Looked like he drifted up a little bit more there, Jan, just tagging that whole idea with less downforce on that car. What's it going to do to him?
And that's exactly what we talked about the opening of the show. The low downforce is the way to get to the front and stay there. But if you're back, as you can see, as many... Oh, look out! Hello! Will Power is as aggressive as I have seen him in a long time.
And you know, Jan, I got to think that no matter what Clive Howell tells him and the response that Will Power had, it's hanging over, 3 wide.
Oh, mercy.
And Will Power sandwich that he just wants to get to the front and get the monkey off his back about ovals.
Well, he's doing that to get to the front, Jack. That's a fact. Wow. So you're Ryan Hunter-Reay. There's that green flag. You see these guys 3 wide. You just got to hang back and say, this is going to give somewhere. Here we go.
He's thinking, okay, all right. Hang on.
That's Brian Briscoe on the right.
Yeah.
Whoa! To the inside is Kanaan.
You see Kanaan get the wiggle there?
Yeah.
Down low. Kanaan just had a big wiggle, had to get out of the throttle, so he went back. Dixon went by. Elio went by. TK, that is.
You called that, Robbie. That was the time to be riding on board with Ryan Hunter-Reay. That gives you an idea of the kind of concentration you need to have in this kind of field.
Well, because he just thought he was the one car sitting there. All of a sudden, we saw somebody on the outside, somebody on the inside. But when you have just that green flag racing side by side around here, you can do it for 20 laps. But after that, you need a break somewhere in there. You got to have a couple laps to catch your breath.
Power is trying to pitch. He's trying to keep Weldon down. He's trying to keep him down lower, and that is close running.
And the thought process, Jan, of what you're saying, keeping him down low, is if he keeps him down on that bottom and Weldon has to put in a little extra steering and that car washes up, he's going to have to get out of the throttle.
And he's cutting it close.
Andretti making it 3 wide again.
You know what? Dan Weldon may be fighting valiantly, but when you look at the overtakes, guys, he's only got 3 left. And we've got a lot of laps left to go. Coming up on the 18 car, Mr. Dino, and that could really split this one up a little bit, couldn't it?
He's running 19th, by the way. Is 2 laps down. We have 17 cars on the lead lap.
There comes Power.
There's just no breathing in that whole pack of 7-8 cars right there.
Well, this is going to be interesting here when they come up on Milka.
Oh, she's going high.
Well, middle high, middle low.
Weldon forced below the white line, but
I think from the official standpoint, they say when you go down there, if you had an avoidance, we'll be okay with that.
And Will Power has the lead. But Andretti is right there to his right. Weldon, who led, now finds himself battling for third with Ryan Hunter-Reay. Back with more at Chicagoland in a moment.
If you know passion, you know my name. If the roar of a race car gives you goosebumps,
If you believe that no one ever remembers who comes in second. If you're into checkered flags, chugging milk, and burning rubber, you know my name. If you've ever pressed your nose to a chain-link fence to get a closer look, if you own a pair of earplugs, if you know Andretti, Rahal, and Unser, you know my name. You know my name because I've been here from the very beginning. As vital today as I was over 100 years ago. 100 miles to go. I am a powerhouse. I am running wide open with no finish line in sight. I am the fire that never goes out. You know my name. I am then, I am now, I am forever. I am Firestone, and I am proud.
Cleavage, striptease, innuendo, they're all cheap tricks that distract from GoDaddy's award-winning services. We're the #1 domain name registrar in the world. GoDaddy is where TNA stands for Timely Assistance.
All right.
Whew. It's time to focus on GoDaddy's round-the-clock customer support. So who's ready to paper the town with GoDaddy's new values campaign?
Yes!
Yeah.
All right. Yeah!
See more now at GoDaddy.com.
Marco Andretti here at Chicagoland. The record prior to tonight for most lead changes here at this racetrack, 23 in 2004. We have had 24 tonight. The record has been set for number of lead changes, and we've got almost 40 laps to go. There are the first two. Will Power and Marco Andretti. Here comes 3 and 4. Dan Weldon on the low side and Ryan Hunter-Reay on the outside. They almost bang wheels coming off of turn number 4. Right behind them, Tony Kanaan, who's had a very stout race tonight, on board with him. Oh, he had to lift there a little bit.
Tony Kanaan's been running high a lot of the evening and taking advantage now, Ryan Briscoe.
And Briscoe, of course, has led the most laps here tonight, so he gets around Tony Kanaan. Here comes the 9 car of Scott Dixon, and right behind him, or to his side, is Dario Franchitti, his teammate, and right there also is Graham Rahal.
And we've seen Graham just always challenging, kind of towards the back of this pack, so he's got a fast race car. We just haven't seen him up in that top 4 group, but let's look for that before the night's out.
And Leo Castro Neves, of course, had that slow pit stop, now trying to make up ground.
Yeah, we haven't talked about him very much, but he is in the top 10 right now. Back in 11th.
Whoa! Look out!
Alex Lloyd, sideways, coming off turn number 4. The caution is out.
How about the timing of us just swooping back right on that? Just got loose coming off there. We all 3 just saw it.
I was about to say that Danica Patrick was running 11th, but I didn't get it out. Wow, second problem for Alex Lloyd tonight. Boy, that was a scary ride, wasn't it? It comes with 30 laps to go, so everybody will come in, and
it'll be their final pit stop.
That's right.
Well, what that's going to do, too, is going to keep that whole lead pack together. They're not going to be spread out on green stops, so it's just going to be everything at the end of this.
That's what we saw live. Alex Lloyd coming off corner number 4, slides to the inside of the racetrack. We are under caution here at Chicagoland Speedway on Versus. Under caution here at Chicagoland Speedway because of an incident involving Alex Lloyd. Will Power is the leader.
And when they pit, they will only need 12.2 gallons of fuel to make it to the end. That's only 3.5 seconds of fuel, faster than it takes to change tires. Will someone take a chance and not take tires?
You heard Al Spire say earlier that that is a very likely situation here in the late going, given this green with less than 30 laps to go. Let's watch. They're changing tires on Power, both Ryan Hunter-Reay and Andretti, and also on Will Power.
And on Dixon back there. Look at that.
He gets out quick.
Ryan Hunter-Reay was third across, Power second.
Franchitti up 8th position.
Wow.
And Patrick up 5.
So did they put tires on?
Sure looked like they were going for tires for Dario.
I got to say, my eye wasn't focusing on that car. I saw that Dixon definitely went with him, but I can't confirm that I saw Franchitti.
Wow. We're set up for some great racing to the checkered flag. It's Franchitti, Will Power, Marco Andretti. Will we be back in just a moment?
The Peak Antifreeze and Motor Oil Indy 300 on Versus is presented by Peak Performance Products. When you peak, you win. And by Izod, the official apparel sponsor of the Izod IndyCar Series, available at Macy's. And by Honda, the engine supplier for the Izod IndyCar Series.
If you're like me, you want maximum protection for your engine. You demand it, and Peak delivers. No matter what you drive or how you drive it, nothing protects better than Peak.
Peak Long Life Antifreeze is formulated with an advanced organic technology to protect any engine of any make, any model, anytime. If you can drive it, Peak can protect it.
Make sure you get Peak protection. When you peak, you win.
There's a reason why. In 5 years of powering every car in the Indianapolis 500 race, not a single Honda engine has failed. It's not the parts we make them from. It's the part we put in to every Honda.
Quality and value. Style. Performance. Sure, you want it all. You just don't want to spend it all. No problem. Just go with the brand voted #1 overall. Toyo tires. For 7 of the last 9 years by people who know best. Independent tire dealers, just like me. So for top quality and top value, take it from the pros. Toyo tires.
Yeah, IndyCar racing is extremely physical. Extremely physical. Handling that 650 horsepower car. You can feel the engine kicking your butt. You're in a car and it's beating you up.
Your head hurts, your back hurts, your muscles ache.
I've gone into some races where after the 3rd or 4th lap, I'm like, we have how many laps to go?
We're back here at Chicagoland Speedway in the final moments of the Peak Antifreeze and Motor Oil Indy 300. Let's go back to that last pit stop and what happened to Dario Franchitti. See him on the high side? He has to make a wide arc in. He does not take tires. Now watch when he pulls back out. He snookers everybody and beats him. Maybe Al Spire is right. We're down to a handful of laps. Let's go to Robbie Floyd, find out more from Chip Ganassi.
Well, Chip, some crazy things going over the radio right now, but that was one heck of a gamble you made. What played in that decision?
Yeah, I mean, we're basically about a 5th or 6th car, and that's our shot to win there. That's the only shot we have.
Well, I just heard over the radio just a minute ago, and everybody can hear the radios. They told Will Power that he does not have enough fuel to make it to the end. These guys were scrambling, and back that has to put a smile on your face.
You never know. We'll see.
Thanks, Chip.
Can't believe everything you hear on the radio. And also, nice job by the Target Chip Ganassi team. They had the tires out there, and they almost made it look like they were going to go for tires, and that's part of what you do. You lay out, making it look like you're going to go tires, and then you kind of pull the sleight of hand, and he tricked me. Robbie, you were right on the money. No tires, good job.
And looking at the grid right there, Danica Patrick's now in 6th spot. Same thing. Came in fuel only.
Let me give you the numbers. 7, 34, 10, and 06. So you got Danica, and you got the 34, and they're all gambling right now, and it might work for them to get better spots.
We have a new record for most different leaders in an Izod IndyCar Series race 11. We have 25 laps to go, 24 laps to go. In Atlanta in 1999, they were 10. Tonight, we have had 11. And this equals the record for the most different leaders. And also, we have had 25 lead changes as the green flag comes out. And here we go, hopefully to the finish.
Good restart by Dario, no question of holding a couple car lengths there.
Look at Kanan going to the
and
to the high side and now low side.
Yeah.
Danica Patrick is in the mix here. She's running 6th.
Pressure from Power on Franchitti on the high side. I think that's the question is, with Dario now going to be protecting that bottom line, has he got enough grip in those Firestones as they keep putting laps on him to stay on the bottom and run flat and be fast?
Ryan Hunter-Ray has the most overtake assist, pushes left. Look at him slice and dice. Tony Kanaan going to the low side.
That was Briscoe here just quickly on board. And remember, he doesn't have as much aero as this guy, TK. So when you get up in traffic, that car moves around a lot more than having that extra downforce that TK has on.
Marco Andretti to his right. Briscoe right behind.
Dan Weldon finished 2nd at the Indianapolis 500. He's running 2nd here tonight.
This is all just, so quick in terms of the way all this happens.
Over the top, as we see the order that they are running in, you also see the number of overtake assists they have remaining. Look at this, 4 wide. Wow. Oh,
Ryan.
Ryan is way up in the gray, kicking up the dust.
Yeah, safe to say that's not premium grip. Whoa, is that tight back there?
Playing to the original storyline that if you go with the low downforce, you're doing. It looked like he was unbeatable when he was on the front.
Yep.
Now he's stuck mid-pack. And he's just going backwards.
And he just lost, 3 or 4 spots right there in that sequence of getting up high.
But how about Will Power? Everybody asking, well, how's he going to do when we get to the ovals? He certainly has been dominant on the street and road courses. Well, he is in a battle for 2nd.
Board with Briscoe. Look, and he's just shifting up a gear, keeping that momentum on the high side. He still wants some.
Wow! There was.
Wow. Well, we saw the dust coming up, but what about that close contact on his left front with Marco? Man.
You can watch here for a little while in Versus non-stop. We will take a break and be back for the finish of the race here at Chicagoland Speedway.
Keys to Speed instant win game for a chance to go to the Indy 500 and meet Danica Patrick.
Think you can handle it?
Find game pieces inside specially marked packages or go online to learn more.
Ready to ride?
Born ready.
This brickyard runs on sugar.
Sweet sugarcane ethanol.
It's an advanced biofuel recognized by the EPA
because it cuts greenhouse emissions by 60% compared to gasoline.
And can save you money at the pump. Fast and sweet and clean and lovely, the fuel from sugar cane goes racing. I can dance. Nah, I cannot sing. But one thing we can agree, we race on ethanol.
Multi-purpose synthetic lubricant from Royal Purple. The easy spray answer to penetrate, lubricate, and leave a long-lasting film that protects. Forget old-school aerosols and break free with Max Film multi-purpose synthetic lubricant from Royal Purple.
IndyCar Nation, why aren't you a member yet?
Follow me behind the scenes.
Free timing and scoring. Free live video streaming. New and improved member benefits. The best Izod IndyCar Series content anywhere.
Visit IndyCar.com. Enjoy IndyCar Nation today.
Yeah, IndyCar racing is extremely physical. I've gone into some races where after the 3rd or 4th lap, I'm like, how many laps to go?
The journey has begun. Every mile is long. Every turn predictable. This is where true confidence ride on. Professional bull riders next on Versus.
Racing just doesn't get any better than this. We have 17 cars on the lead lap, and 13 of them are within a second. Dario Franchitti leads Weldon, Power, Kanaan, and Andretti.
And Briscoe, one of those guys that was going backwards just a couple laps ago, now has had a big run in momentum, has come back up a little bit up on the high side of the racetrack.
And look at Marco. He's up on the high side now. Has had just a great race. He has run up front all night. Currently running in second, but with a battle.
Look at Briscoe. You know, we're just looking him up on the high side. I mean, we just rode him off 2 laps ago with going backwards, but with not having, you know, that downforce in the car. He's fast if he can run flat and not have to get out of it.
And not far behind him, Justin Wilson has come from way back to join this group, so now he's a player. Look at how many cars still have a shot in this race. Danica Patrick now getting into the back of this picture as well.
And that was Wilson just looking, as you talked about it, there was him just looking up on the high side at the tail end of this one.
Less than 10 laps to go when they come down this time. It'll be 9 to go. There are the 4 drivers who did not take tires on the last pit stop. Franchitti was among them, and he still leads.
And we'll see if that plays out as we get into the last 4 or 5 laps. Are they going to lose a little bit of that extra bite that you get from those Firestones with the wear on them, or not? We heard from Al Spire. I think these guys are good to go. Great call.
14 drivers within a second.
Now with 9 laps to go, there's the one thing that Robbie Floyd said about a radio communication to Will Power about not having enough fuel to get to the end, which that doesn't make sense to me. He only needed 3.5 seconds of fuel. He should be fine. But if that's true, that could... Oh, Briscoe! Did he hit the wall?
No, he didn't. And it was Ryan Hunter-Reay just kind of pushed him up there, and he had to get up there and got in that grade. Now he dumped the throttle and lost that momentum.
He's pretty much out of it.
Hey, Jan, let me confirm the Will Power situation. I just talked to Clive Howe, asked him about fuel, and he said it is dicey at best.
Really? Wow. Well, Franchitti holding everybody at bay, but behind him, action all over the place.
Hunter-Reay very happy with the Andretti Autosport guys and the product that they showed up here with in Chicago.
And we shouldn't forget about the fact that what happened at the end of the Indianapolis 500 when you had Ryan Hunter-Reay ran out of fuel and had that horrific accident with Mike Conway. And Mike Conway, if you're watching, we hope you'll be back soon. But that has to be a concern if you're following Will Power. They all monitor each other's radios, and if they think he might suddenly... And look, he's jumping back.
Right now, just as you're saying that, he's going backwards.
5 laps to go.
How do you put yourself in that position when you were in the championship points?
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Well, at least he did not run out of fuel. He brought it in.
But still, he's coming under green conditions.
No,
he's
but from a safety standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
Great news.
Yeah.
I wasn't
from a championship standpoint, that is.
But major implications perhaps in the point championship as the leader comes in, leaving the battle on the racetrack to 13 others.
You only needed 3.5 seconds of fuel. Something went wrong during the pit stop. They had a fast car, but again, he snaked it on the oval.
Robbie.
Larry Koskas puts in that fuel probe. Only about a second stop, if that, for them. He's had his head in his hands these past few laps. He knows that that's what may have cost the number 12 a victory and maybe the championship.
And that point interval is now 24. Will Power leads Franchitti by 24, and Franchitti, of course, is the leader of the race.
So Power hits the pits. At the same time, Franchitti goes to the lead. You can't have a bigger swing.
No, and you heard Chip Ganassi say, hey, we only had a 4th or 5th place car. That was our gamble to win this race. And right now, with 2 laps to go, what a play. What a play.
Does that go along with rather be lucky than good?
Less than 3 miles of racing to go, and Dario Franchitti stretches the advantage right now. That is Ryan Hunter-Reay up on the high side of Tony Kanaan for 4th position. Here's the white flag. We got 1 more lap to go at Chicagoland.
Wow, the point swing here with Franchitti in the lead and Power having to fuel.
But it's not over. Here comes Weldon.
Dan Weldon, as we mentioned, finished 2nd in Indianapolis. That's where he's running now. Marco Andretti looks to the high side. They come off of corner number 4. Let's see who wins it. It's going to be Dario Franchitti winning with Dan Weldon 2nd and Marco Andretti 3rd.
Way to go, my man. Great job there. Great job. Simon said, whoever told them that don't take tires was here, boys.
Well, Dario needed the victory to come closer to the championship, and he also needed Will Power to lose points, and that is exactly what happened here tonight. At one point, we thought Will Power's going to wrap up the championship, maybe at Kentucky, but that will not be the case. The championship tightens here at Chicagoland. Lindy?
All right, Chip, that gamble paid off, huh?
I'll tell you, that was our only shot, really. I mean, you know, we got back in traffic there. We were in trouble. We in clean air. We liked it. So, I mean, he did the job. I mean, we put him up front. He did the rest. Dario did it.
Yeah, even coming into this, he said the car felt great.
Yeah, I mean, he said the car was great all night. He just didn't feel like he had any power to get by anybody, you know, and we stuck him out front there. He did the rest.
Championship in your sights?
Always.
See ya. We'll let him go celebrate.
Dario Franchitti wins by 42 one-thousandths of a second over Dan Weldon. Another incredible finish here at Chicagoland, and the top 10 cars finished within a second. Graham Rahal wound up 10th, 9/10ths of a second behind Dario Franchitti, and there it is at the line. Just a little less than a car length advantage for Franchitti. And a little bit closer shot. Yep, just a little less than a car length. And a good showing by Andretti Autosport tonight. Andretti finished 3rd, Ryan Hunter-Reay 4th, Kanaan 5th, and Danica Patrick finished in 14th position. But the victory goes to Dario Franchitti, who came in with a different colored car combination, but it worked for him.
Hey, Bob, we caught up with Clive Howell, who caused the shots for Will Power, finished in the 16th spot. What happened on the next to last pit stop that left you in a fuel situation?
We had an issue with the equipment, and we didn't get enough fuel in the car, so, you know, we were trying to decide whether we should come right back in on that yellow and put it in, but we didn't know whether we'd actually got it in or not, so we had to stop for about 2 gallons of fuel right at the end there. Shame for Will, because he drove a great race tonight.
Yeah, he did.
So you know, guys, Will Power just hopped out of the car and made a beeline down pit road, so we're going to try and catch up with him.
Yeah, he was walking pretty briskly away from his pit box. As Dario comes in, it was the 17th closest finish in IZOD IndyCar Series history, and only the 6th closest ever at Chicagoland.
Well, great testament to the product that Firestone keeps building for these guys and these cars around here to double stint that like they did.
Helmet off. Go! Get out. You gotta get his helmet off.
He's just taking it in, isn't he? He's just taking it in. I don't blame him.
Great radio call saying, whoever thought of not taking tires, this one's for you. That was a great strategy call.
Yeah, if you were Dario Franchitti, wouldn't you be taking it in right now? I mean, he is giggling like a little schoolgirl. Let me tell you, Dario Franchitti wins the Indianapolis 500, only 23 points, Dario, behind Will Power. Now, how about it for the number 10, Dario Franchitti? Breathe right. Buddy, you're living right today. You said you would be happy with a victory, but are you even happier now after you saw what happened in the points battle?
I'm delighted right now. I mean, we struggled all night with the Breathe Right car in traffic there. But whoever made the call on the timing stand, there was Chip, Barry, Chris, that was the call that won us the race tonight. I got to thank the boys for making that call. And also Dan Weldon. Dan, it's like a drafting, restrictor plate race out there tonight. And Dan was my drafting partner and helped me right up to the end. So between him and my teammate Scott pushing me throughout the race, there's Chip. About that! Amazing.
Yeah, Chip wraps up the Grand Am series as well with Mabo and Scott. So another double for Chip Ganassi and Chip Ganassi Racing. So it's been a good Chip. Get on in here. I mean, did you ever dream that this could happen again? Much like last year with Briscoe and Motegi, such a big swap here in one race.
I mean, this guy did it all. He's the guy driving the car. We just put it out there for him. He's the guy driving
They pulled my ass out of the fire again tonight. That's why I love driving for this team. You just never give up.
A question, did y'all learn anything from Sarah? I mean, you saw how hard it was for guys to get by on that low side. Did you go to school?
I think these guys did. I was just getting frustrated out there, getting further and further back. But again, a great call by the team tonight, and we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there.
You don't have much time to think about it. You head to Kentucky, another 1.5. You've been strong. What's the positive feeling now that you head towards next week?
Yeah, we just got to keep going, man. But again, it just shows don't give up, right? I mean, we were back in 10th place at one point there, struggling with the car, and we left the Firestones on there, and they were good for a stint and a half. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Firestones were strong. 62 laps he put on though. Congratulations, Dario Franchitti, another win here in Chicagoland.
Robbie, you remember the thrill of victory in the agony of defeat. Will Power's been very gracious on the walk back to his motorhome. What do you say about the way things unfolded in the last couple of laps, Will?
Yeah, mate, I mean, that's racing, These things happen. Unfortunately, we didn't get all the fuel in, but, man, I mean, I had so much fun out there. It was, I never thought I could race ovals like that. But, man, that's going to make it tough in the championship. We got to eliminate little mistakes like that. And, man, I'm still in it. We still just got to keep pushing hard and not make mistakes.
I was going to ask, not to sound like Pollyanna, but one thing that you did maybe silence are the critics that said you can't get the job done on an oval tonight.
Yeah, I was looking good there before that last stop, man. I'm like, as long as I'm leaning at the end, like they can't get by me. But yeah, that's racing. You got to, as much as it can be frustrating and you can get angry, you just got to, you take it. You got to take it.
Hey, thanks for stopping and chatting with us.
No problem.
All right, Will. Guys.
Has to be a major disappointment, but we've got 3 more races to go. Who knows what's going to happen? Let's salute the winning pit performers of the evening. The Firestone pit performers are the Dario Franchitti crew. Total time of the pits, 1 minute, 49.4 seconds. Back in a moment.
At Best Buy.
Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway. I am with number 2 and number 3. Let's start with Marco, who finished 3rd. First of all, what were your team's thoughts on whether or not you were going to take tires on that last stop?
Well, I mean, that we were contemplating it, and just turns out we made the wrong choice. But we kind of got shuffled back a few times during the race. So to be at the front, I mean, we got to be a little bit happy.
What was it like out there running with the Penske and Ganassi boys, just being so close out there?
Well, when everybody's flat out and you're running, it's hard to pass them high if they're flat on the bottom, especially at Penske or Ganassi. But, the Venom car ran well all day.
Your third place on ovals this season. You glad to be back?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a trying past couple weeks on the road courses. So hopefully we can just, gain some momentum and finish on a real high note.
Marco, thank you. And Dan Weldon, let's talk about pit stops with you, because the first one, not so great. You get to the back, and then the next two, though, really make up for it.
Yeah, that's what's fantastic about the National Guard Panther Racing guys. It's that never give up attitude that I think we've learned from a lot of the soldiers in the U.S. and overseas, and obviously proud to represent them, and hopefully I think they can see that, I never give up either, or does the team. And, it's a fantastic result. I'm sure I'm going to be in trouble with, Team Penske for perhaps working with Dario, but, I got to say, working with Dario out there, he's a true professional, and, always gave me room, and not a lot, but enough. And, to have a result like that, I think is fantastic. And I think, as everybody could see, Honda continued to do a great job providing competitive engines, and the Firestone tires were good, to the point where we contemplated nearly doing 60 laps on a set, but we did change, and I'm just happy for all the guys. They do work very, very hard, and they deserve a good result.
For those of us who don't know, what's it like to run 4 abreast at 219?
It's exciting. It's fun. It's it's the way racing should be. I got to say, I've really enjoyed the road courses this year, and it's good to be back on the ovals. But it's very, very difficult at times. You've got to race around people you trust, and you've got to give people room. And that's why I like working with certain people. But I think a few of them had too many nos drinks before the race, because there was a lot of moving around.
Dan, thank you. And Bob, what a turnaround for him from last week.
Once again, Weldon shows well on a super speedway. Here are the top 10 finishers, including Justin Wilson in 7th, Vitor Meira in 9th, Graham Rahal 10th.
Win.
Going into tonight's race, Will Power had a 59-point advantage on Dario Franchitti. Dario gained 36 tonight. It's only a 23-point spread as we go to the Kentucky Speedway, the race that will once again be very, very close. It is a 1.5-mile racetrack similar to the one that they raced on tonight. Down to Robbie Floyd.
Ryan Hunter-Reay, who finishes in 4th place. Tony Khan to his side, number 11, finishes in 5th. One heck of a race. You said, I'm glad that one was over with.
Yeah, that was nuts. I mean, that was crazier than any Texas race I've been in, and it was just nonstop the whole time. You never could take a breath. It was just everybody all over each other the whole time. I'm sure everybody's going to leave here pissed off at each other, but it's good for the sport. It was just so intense. I'm trying to take it all in. I mean, it was nonstop, and those last few laps, I made a couple good moves around the outside to get a run on a few guys, and we ended up P4, so it's good for the championship run.
It looked like an NBA game. There were so many high fives in your pits with that second to last pit stop. I think you gained 6 spots.
The guys did an awesome job on the last couple stops there. We're just on fire, and it was perfect. So we got out, got some spots, and then we made up a few more on the track there at the end.
I got to hear one heck of a debrief here. And Tony, you said, Robbie, you have no idea what it feels like. What did it feel like out there?
Like hell. I think, like Ryan said, I mean, yeah, it's great for TV, it's great for the fans, but you're hanging on for your life every lap there, and then I'm sure it upset Ryan and upset a lot of other people, and they upset me because there's no way to hide. You're running 6 abreast, 3 abreast into the corner, 15 cars altogether. Yeah, it's great, but I mean, it's tough.
You said to watch you at the start. We were on board with Tony Kanaan at the start. What was that like? We can always count on you.
It's always fun. I mean, it's not becoming fun anymore, but look at that. That was fine. That was actually on the outside, 5 positions. I mean, I'm learning from Ryan. He gave me a tip, told me to follow him, and that's what I did. I was right behind me, right there.
Now we also have another angle when you're right next to Scott Dixon. Things may be a little dicier.
I know. Look at that, man. I think we hit. I think he touched me. If you look, that's it. Yeah, I mean, that tells you why I'm not happy about it, and it's not Scott's fault. The thing is, we got a lap car there, and he moved Scott up. I didn't see that lap car, and then when I saw it was too late, I moved up, he moved up, and we hit. So, for sure, I know you guys watched it and enjoy it at home, but I was not enjoying it.
Well, Tony Kanaan, glad the race is over. Ryan Hunter-Reay, he seconds that one. Andretti Autosport, 3, 4, and 5. We'll be back from Chicagoland in just a moment.
Next on Versus.
Welcome Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway, where tonight we set a record for lap leaders, 11, and I am here with one of them, Sarah Fisher. Sarah, talk about your pit strategy tonight.
Well, I think if that last yellow had fallen a couple laps earlier, we'd have been all right. But, you know, I'm just so proud of this team. The Dollar General boys did an awfully great job getting ready for this race, and Service Central's been hanging in there with our second car program. So it's just so much fun to be able to get out there and run up front. And, you know, Kerry Hall's been fueling for us this whole year, and, you know, with his ALS battle. I'm just really happy we have a wonderful group of people.
Sarah, thank you. And Bob, we will see her next week at Kentucky, and Jack, and we will also see her at Homestead.
Guys, remember when we started tonight, we had my little GPS out and it said recalculating on the journey? That's exactly what drove the Breathe Right car to victory lane. Chip Ganassi was smart enough to recalculate on several occasions. He knew the car was at best a fifth-place car. And then that final pit stop. He totally recalculated and waved off taking on Firestone Firehawk tires. Why? Because he gathered the information that they could go a short stint. That recalculation got him to that destination. He's in victory lane, and we now have a real barn burner of a points battle.
Indeed, we do. The top 6 in the points are still mathematically eligible for the championship, but everybody from Tony Kanaan down has been eliminated. Dario Franchitti wins his 3rd race of the season, his 26th career open wheel win, moving him into a tie for 11th with Ralph De Palma. And we look forward to next Saturday night at Kentucky Speedway.
Well, I just keep coming back to that battle of Briscoe and Carpenter a year ago that we all loved. If we get a taste of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, coming up next here on Versus, the PBR. Be sure to tune in next Saturday at 8 o'clock Eastern for the Kentucky Indy 300. IZOD, the official apparel sponsor of the IZOD IndyCar Series, available at Macy's. For more information on the IZOD IndyCar Series, log on to Versus.com. Congratulations to Dario Franchitti, winner here tonight in Chicagoland. For Jan Beekes, Robbie Buell, Jack Arute, Robbie Floyd, and Lindy Thax, I'm Bob Jenkins. We'll see you next Saturday night in Kentucky.